last year of allowed to have laps.
What's
Oh,
going How
Stefan.
are you?
Hmm?
How
Sorry, I
are
saw
you?
it drink. We're good.
Oh my
Hello.
God, look at that. It's like, how old is that Pepsi?
It's good, man. Kerry's good as well.
That's the old label.
Which
They
one?
brought it back in. They brought it back.
Looks, what is that? Pepsi Max? What is
I
it?
know
Mine's a
it's a
Pepsi Max.
caffeine free. It's the
Max.
caffeine free.
I know. I've got the stupid pussy one.
How are you guys?
I have the sherry one.
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm
All
good,
good.
man.
How's
Yeah.
obviously I haven't spoke to you lot because of you've all been busy. You've all been at Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in Mexico for a week
Yep.
with Samson on tour.
That looked good.
Uh, that was absolutely crazy.
I can imagine.
Mm.
We flew from city to city, and it's wild. It's really busy, and I don't think doing city to city like one day after another is
That's
smart.
the
I think,
wisest thing to do.
well, there should be a gap like in between, like maybe
Yeah.
Monday, Wednesday, third, Friday kind of thing, instead of like every day going. So because we like Samson missed 2 training sessions. Like I was really upset about it because we were supposed to make time for all of that, but like
Just can't.
you fly somewhere, you check in your hotel, you take a shower, you get to a meet and greet. Next thing you know,
6 p.m.
yeah,
Before you
it's
don't, yeah.
fucking
It's
crazy.
just way too busy and you never can calculate it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So I went from Mexico to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh was crazy. I saw Stefan for 5 minutes, but I didn't really couldn't
Five,
talk to
five
him.
whole minutes.
No,
Well,
it was the same for me. I think every 10 minutes I said to the person I was talking after,
yeah.
I need to go to Fouad's booth, but
Yeah. Yeah.
then 6 hours later,
Yeah.
nobody was left there because it seems that nobody was interested in women categories,
Yeah.
and,
Sunday,
and,
Sunday was
and,
dead. Yeah.
and the booth left the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should split like open on one day and do
Yeah,
classic on the other and have them.
Oh, was it one day was a lot quieter than the other?
Well, what they
Saturday
had,
was men only and it was rammed, and
Okay,
then
okay.
Sunday was chill.
the
Okay.
yeah,
Sunday was
Saturday,
really kind of crazy.
but it also
Mm.
wasn't fair to the women because Sunday was also
No,
Mother's Day. So
yeah.
I think a lot of people that they all came to the expo,
Yeah.
and I think more people probably came to the expo on Saturday because they knew Mother's Day was on Sunday.
That's true.
No, it's because men's open bodybuilding is on Saturday. What the fuck are you talking about?
Hold on a minute.
Fuck
Listen,
off.
I'm not fucking retarded. I know
No,
obviously men are driving the ticket sales, but people don't we've had shows like me and Paul had a show one time on Thanksgiving weekend.
it was fucked for it, was
We're
it?
like, oh, it'll be okay because people celebrate Thanksgiving on Saturday or whatever,
Yeah.
Monday, and fuck in Canada because some people celebrate Thanksgiving on Monday instead of Sunday.
Okay.
It was fucking dead. We had a horrible outing that week. So I just know on holidays it can be tricky.
Yeah.
But Ben is right. And when people talk about this is the other thing that's probably going to be a very controversial thing to say, but when people talk about men's physique being a massive class, I understand it's a massive class at the amateur ranks.
But
But
in,
when you go to these bodybuilding shows, after the men's open and the men's classic, most of the people get up and clear out, man.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I'm
but that's
sorry.
exactly what I said the last time. We have to divide. Men's physique is huge in competitors.
Yes.
The competitors is a huge thing.
But
Yes.
the audience, not so.
Bodybuilding audience fans,
Yeah.
Well, the reason I said that is men's physique guys, and I should have, like I really like Ryan Terry. I got a lot of time, a chance to spend a lot of time with him in Mexico.
Right sound.
Very nice guy, and
Very.
we've always had a good relationship. But this is the first time I really got a chance
hard to understand. His British accent is
No, it's not bad. It's like James. It's not any different.
yesterday. Andre Dieusch, because he's competing tomorrow, sent me a video where Ryan was giving him posing tips in the background. I just heard. First,
It's
I
a
was
little bit,
thinking, which
yeah.
language is that?
It's a little bit harsher than James, but I think I've been hanging out with the Brits for so long now. I can like kind of pick it up. But no, I got a chance to spend some time with them. We're talking. So I have all the respect in the world for the men's physique guys, but
Absolutely.
their argument is always, well, if you go to the amateur shows, it's the most people come and the biggest class and whatever. And that's because it's the easiest. There's the smallest barrier to entry. When
Yeah,
when you're
the
starting,
argument is kind right because when it comes to competitor numbers,
Yeah,
because
well,
that
So,
also
so that's why
brings
the audience
money.
is big. Exactly.
but
And that's why the audience is big because every person brings a person or two.
Well, that's how it is at the amateur shows,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
Every
exactly.
competitor brings like
Yeah.
their mom and dad and their best friend.
Yeah, yeah.
So you get the crowd filled with men's physique guys. And it's also the smallest barrier to entry because when you're just starting out and putting on muscle, it's the easiest class to get into because the classic guys and the open guys obviously have to have more mass. So you get these massive numbers, and the men's physique guys think that's everything. But it's when you go to the big shows
The
like
business side,
Pittsburgh or
yeah.
the Arnold or the Olympic, you see where the
Yeah.
interest is, and it's open and classic is the main.
Majority.
Seems like that's the main driver of the audience.
Mm.
I didn't see the man at all. The classic, the physique.
Physique. It was actually a good show. Like obviously me, Ian, and
Yeah, you had to.
yeah, we're doing commentary. But listen, I'm not normally that interested in it, but it was actually a pretty good matchup between Vito, Aaron,
And Edmund,
Edmund, and what's his name? The other guy,
Brian Hendrickson.
Brandon Henderson. Yeah, those four were actually very good. I'm not normally that interested, but we were like sitting there trying to decide like who would you like if we were judging, who would we pick? Not that we're men's physique experts, but I still had Aaron just because front to back, it's just his back is too impressive. So
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah. But anyway, so I saw Stefan for 5 minutes. We argued for all 5 minutes.
Of course.
Stefan, what did you say to me? You said Derek was better. Is that what you said?
No, I said for me, it's completely okay that he won, and I would have judged the same.
Well, the reason I can't argue with that is because half the judges obviously felt the same way. So, but the other half felt the other way. So
Yeah, but the most ridiculous thing was when you said, "Yeah, but more people think that I'm right." I said, "Yeah, okay, I don't give a fuck."
well, what I meant by that is obviously fans commentary doesn't mean everything because the judges is what means everything.
Yeah.
But fans have eyes,
Yeah, good.
right?
It
And
was super
a lot
close.
of them, and a lot of them are actually pretty educated. Some just are picking their favorite person, whatever. But a lot of them do, they watch the show. We've broken down many shows. They kind of are starting to understand how to look at a physique. And I think more people had Nick winning.
Yeah, because he has much more fans also. You can't
No.
compare the fan base. I think you can't compare that.
It doesn't feel okay. You're right about that, but it doesn't feel to me when I'm reading comment sections and on different pages and stuff. It doesn't feel to me like just a fan base that's saying it. It feels to me like people are like, well, he won because of this, and they're giving like a reason.
Yeah, but they're also the same. He won because of that.
I saw a lot of people saying I'm not normally a Nick fan, but
yeah.
Like I'm normally rooting for Derek, or I prefer Derek's physique, but
yeah.
When people are saying that, and that's like widespread, even in person and online, it's tricky.
Stefan, would you say that, in your opinion, was Derek as good at the Arnold at the Pittsburgh as he was at the Arnold, or no?
It's so super hard to compare because light was kind
lighting.
of strange.
It's because lighting. Yeah, you can't tell.
The light was kind of strange there.
Because Derek was obviously in very good. He was in very good shape. It's just
what definitely was much better from Derek was his side chest. How he posed his upper body was a huge improvement. If you take a look compared to the Arnold, still Nick was much better in that pose. We already agreed.
Oh, okay.
We already agreed with that.
I thought you were saying he was better.
No. But he was better as at the Arnold's in that specific pose. But I really can't tell if he was better or worse. I really like the package he brought. I like how he posed, how he improved some of the poses. But if condition or anything else was better, honestly, I can't say. Different lights. I love the Arnold lightning. I didn't like that lightning so much there.
I think sorry, go ahead, James.
No, what I was going to say, I think what made it appear that maybe Derek wasn't as good is because the way that Nick's very gnarly. And I don't think there was anyone that gnarly at the Arnold. So Nick standing next to Derek made him look like maybe he wasn't as hard as he is because he doesn't have hard muscle.
Right.
So I think it's just because Nick's the epitome of grainy, big, full muscle. And I think if he was out of the equation out of that show, I don't think anyone would have gone, "Oh, Derek's off."
Can I
just you know what I mean?
For a second, James? The only reason I was at both shows.
Of course, you got much better. I
I
wasn't
think Derek was,
better.
if we're gonna put a percentage on it, 2%, 3%,
Yeah.
but it was like a real fine crispness
Yeah.
that he had at the Arnold, which
He
could have
was
been
spot on at the
could have been
Arnold,
lighter,
wasn't he?
right?
Yeah.
But the one thing that did stand out to me, which is really weird because you can't fucking see it in photos. Like I was looking at the photos because some people are putting like a comparison photo between the Arnold and the Pittsburgh,
Mhm.
and they're showing like which Derek looked better, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I can't see it in those photos, but when I was sitting there, I swear
see
his
it.
legs did not look the same as at the Arnold. His legs looked like maybe they tried to pull too much water or something. His legs did not look as balanced as they did at the Arnold. Look, when I saw Derek at the Arnold, I'm like, this is the best Derek I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I felt the same.
His legs were balanced with his upper body. His crispness was insane. Like that was, it was just a different, better than when he won the Olympia, in my opinion.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I just didn't think his legs were full this time around, and that's most of the reason why I gave it to Nick. It wasn't the conditioning; it was the balance.
Proportion.
Yeah,
Ben?
I had it the same as you. And actually, to James's point, even when he walked out and they did their individual presentations, it just didn't seem as like the Arnold was very polished. It was just like almost perfect. Like, I couldn't pick apart that peak, the fullness, the crispness, the dryness, the detail he had on his side. Like I didn't see that kind of detail, especially at pre-judging in Pittsburgh. I didn't see that. Like at the Arnold, it looked like someone had clawed the side of his leg down the
Yeah,
side.
it was real deep. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just didn't see that level, and maybe that's the lighting that threw me off. Maybe it's the comparison against Nick, but that's bodybuilding, right? It's the matchups that make the show. So for me, I had Nick ahead from the minute they walked out.
The only thing I could make a case for, like if I was a judge voting for Derek, and to me, I'll explain afterwards why I don't think this is a good reason, but if I was a judge, the only thing I could think is Nick is very, very good at holding his poses and holding his stomach when he's posing. But I noticed in between transitions, there was some
Movement.
relaxation, mostly in the later rounds. Like the more he posed, the more a little bit that stomach started to distend a little bit. So if I was a judge, that would be the only case I could make. But to me, it doesn't discount the imbalance in the upper lower bodies for Derek. But go ahead, Stefan.
I would say that for a guy with his size, the stomach control was really good.
Yeah.
To say something positive, I didn't get any negative feelings about that in any time. But a positive side on Derek, which kind of fascinates me, is how tight on every millimeter of his body the skin is.
Mm.
He has no loose skin part anywhere, not standing, not flexing, not relaxing, not posing. His skin is always so good
Yeah.
filled out, you know.
Yeah.
His skin texture is just a very, 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 very nice one. And that gives also kind of a look. And for me, for my taste, that's kind of a benefit he has, Nick, for example, doesn't have.
Ben, you're muted still.
No.
Sorry. It's funny you say that actually because Derek's skin tone or texture with the tan on it, he always has like almost one of the best tans on it. And that's what I
It's
said about the
crazy
Arnold.
good.
The polish, yeah, it's really clean and smooth. He's got pristine skin. Looks like a 16-year-old, like
Yeah,
really.
exactly. Asian guy, actually.
But you know what? Like those things to me would factor in if it was exactly even physique wise.
Mm,
I just feel like physique wise, Nick was better. So that extra little bit of skin tone or skin texture, or like Bob was saying in one of his breakdowns, the varicose veins, like those things to me matter. If the physiques are exactly even, then it might tilt to one guy.
mm.
But I think when there's a disparity in the muscularity and the physique and the symmetry, that should overwhelm all of those small polish points.
I'll tell you something because at pre-judging, I was sat with Paul about 5 rows behind where you and Ian were.
Yeah.
And so we were, like, Paul could actually see because any further back than that, you can't see shit, right? So
Yeah.
he could actually, at pre-judging, we were breaking it down and we were arguing because he had it for Derek.
Yeah.
And then when they brought out the second call out, they were running them, and Paul said, look at Nick now. He said they'll mark him down for that because he was completely relaxed off the
I
side
know,
stage.
I saw
And I
that.
was like, so
Yeah.
I'm in my head, and I replied back, nah, he's like not on the line, he's not in the call out, it doesn't matter. And he goes, Ben, they'll look at that, like that's gonna count.
I know that. You know what? I learned that. I think it was my first fucking year of bodybuilding. I forget. My coach at the time was like, listen, even when you're standing on the side, stay in your front relaxed. And I did that all the way up until like 3 years into my pro career when I saw other guys kind of relax. I'm like, okay, I can relax, but you can't fully relax.
No.
And I even nudged Dennis at one point and I said, look, I moved the mic from my mouth.
Yeah.
And I said, look, and Nick was standing off to the side, completely relaxed.
Yeah.
And I don't think they technically judge him for that, but maybe subconsciously they're like, oh, that's not good.
Even
Yeah,
if you
the
have to go,
question
like,
is if somebody looked there, you know, that's
even if you
Look.
have to, like, if you have to catch your breath, just walk off to where the tanning girls are and like pretend like you have to like redo your glaze or something like that, but don't let it just show.
Yeah, there was a good video actually online. Jay Cutler and Larry Wills. I watched it today and yesterday. It's like quite a long video. But even Jay's running through those points with the posing for Larry. He's like, when you're off to the side, he said, you got to think consciously with your obliques and your abs. Like, don't let them, however you can stand that they stay tight.
Right.
Just stand. He said, we used to like put our hands on our hips and just kind of allow ourselves to relax and then return to being big.
Right.
So, yeah, I have some guys even just like do them almost like a semi-most muscular because
put your hands across.
Just something so it's not easy.
Yeah, I think people forget that, like, yes, there's technical points to judging, but they're also human. So if you show them something they don't like, whether it's supposed to register or not, it's registering. It's gonna sit there. So just don't show it to them at all. Just don't.
True.
Just hide it from them until you get off stage.
True.
But I don't know if that was the reason. That's just the only reason. That's the case I could make for it.
It was just super, super close, you know, and two worlds clashed to each other.
I did honestly, Stefan, like we can take a look at something. I honestly didn't feel, I mean, obviously it was close because the judges thought it was close. I didn't feel like it was as close. I really had it like decisively for Nick.
Yeah. I think I kind of did as well from a distance, even though I wasn't there. Obviously, I can only judge on pictures. Again, I think just because I am a sucker for that gnarliness, as soon as I see that, that gives, in my eyes, it gives someone like a little bit of a boost. And I just was like, that's something that Nick has that Derek doesn't. I was like, Derek's missing that. And that's where I was
For me,
like,
it was, I was really swapping around Derek, Nick, Derek, Nick, Derek, Nick, Derek, Nick. From
Here, let's take a look at this.
You are right though. If you look at his side tricep, like especially at pre-judging, Nick's side tricep was really tight through the midsection, and then as he went on, that's where I really noticed him start to lose.
I mean, this is the part that freaks me out is this. Nick is beating Derek in Derek's best poses. Like, to me, this is a better front double bicep on Nick than it is on Derek, only because, I mean, look, if you're looking from the waist up, sure, maybe it's Derek's, but he's also got a lack of detail in his arms. But then if you take the whole physique, it's very imbalanced from upper to lower, whereas Nick's is even all the way through.
I think Derek hurts himself with
that. On the other hand, you could argue that the abdominal area in Nick doesn't look nice in that. You know, what's more important? It's always the question.
That's kind of the debate we're having. What's more important, the balance or the waist?
Do you guys feel? I don't know. When I look at Derek doing that, I want to grab that right leg of his and straighten it out. So it's more like Sean Roden. That I don't like the bend in the knee on that right leg, on the leg that's on our left. I hate that.
But
James,
James, I think he does that because if you look at the one that's straight, it looks even smaller than the one that's sticking out.
Yeah, but so I would still have his thigh turned out as much as that, but I would just kick that foot a little bit forward, man, and just have it looking a bit more. I don't know. I feel like it just, for me, that just throws me off.
Yeah.
James just thinks the knee angle is too big in that put away leg.
So the front lat spread I give to Derek. I think Nick has.
I think they both got quite an average front lat spread.
Yeah.
Not because they are average bodybuilders, it's because they've got so much muscle.
They have trouble hitting it. Yeah.
It's one of them shots that if you've got that much muscle, it actually doesn't look very good.
I mean, this is, Derek's got a great side chest, but this is hard to beat, man.
No, it is. It is.
Well, you can trade, can't you?
Side chest.
You got Nick with the hamstring, but then you got Derek with the quad, like the detail on the side quad.
Yeah, but I'm looking
Nick with the glute. I'm looking. There's trade-offs, isn't there? There's like each of them.
Also, the new way Derek poses that pose with a bigger arm, with more with more triceps,
Yeah, he's wide.
rotated
He's
out.
looking very wide.
He's making that pose really, really, really good now. So
this
the
is a
difference
finals.
with the old one, the difference would have been much bigger than
Yeah.
in that.
It actually even looks really good on like his midsection, like the abs. Like Derek's abs are on display.
But
Even that side.
would you guys give this shot to Nick or Derek?
No, still Nick, but closer as it
By
could
the
have
way,
been.
by the way, the pre-judging comparison was a bigger discrepancy than that because Nick
Yeah.
was harder. Nick was harder and drier at pre-judge.
Okay.
His side leg was nasty at pre-judging.
He's obviously superior in the hamstrings and adductors.
I mean, this
But
is
then you got Derek with the glutes.
pose, and I'm like, I think Nick's got this pose on him.
I think overall the balance of Nick's
Go a
better.
little bit forward. I think Derek is not ready, or does he keep his arms like that?
Derek's also standing a foot closer to the camera.
Yeah, that's,
A little bit. No, it's really like that. Yeah, now maybe it's finished.
like it's one of those, isn't it? Does a back double get won by the back itself or the whole shot? And the whole shot for me and you guys is that Nick has other parts in that shot that are really impressive that make him perhaps stand out. Like, yeah, no one's going to beat Derek in the lat department and mid back. They're not going to.
No,
But you got, like you said, the back double. Is it a shot of adductors, hamstring, biceps, triceps? Because if you look at like Nick's biceps and triceps, look at that.
but James also, it's the quad. Look at the
and the quad as well. That's what I mean. Like it's a case of like all those and
creating this X that's like, you know what I mean? And then it leads into these arms with a peak. There's
head to toe, elbow, he's better in that pose.
For me, arms are really a standout part of like even if you look at like Ronnie Coleman's back double, like the way his peaks.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So,
but also what you don't see on that video is that the depth of Derek's back like was really a league above Nick's.
I bet you could put a fucking hand
you can see it in that. You can see it in the Christmas tree pose from the thickness difference they have for sure.
But it's just one body. It's one body part versus all the rest of the physique.
Sure.
Two body. You know, his shoulders are the same as Nick's in the shot. His back is better. Go back with the shoulder and tell me where in that shot Nick's shoulders are better than.
I don't have to go back.
Derek's.
You can see it right here.
No, we were talking.
His delt literally goes up and over.
We were talking about the back double. Go back and I really need to explain you me that. Go back.
Listen,
and tell me where his shoulders are better.
I don't need to go back. Nick's delts are probably the best in the IFBB.
I said in the back double biceps, his shoulders hadn't been better.
I know, but his delts are better in every other pose. Why would it be worse?
Yeah, but we were you said it's just Derek's back in the back double, which is not true. His shoulders are the same and his glutes are better.
Okay,
so 3 body parts.
Okay, so fine. I'll give you the shoulders.
Yeah,
the same. So he's got lats and glutes. That's it.
Yeah, and Nick got better arms and better legs. Okay, we have 2-2.
No, it's not 2-2. Let's name body parts. Triceps, biceps, adductors, quads.
Okay, you're starting with 5 body ones. Okay, I say then Derek has better traps, better rhomboids.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he has.
He has better lats. He has better lats and better glutes. That's it.
And better traps.
No, traps are equal.
Go back in the pose. Go back.
Traps are equal. No traps are equal.
Go back.
I can't rewind. I can't rewind.
Wait, you didn't compare that side tricep. Now you gotta go back.
Yeah, poses were quite off, sometimes.
But and I was
called it.
Looking at that side tricep, how Nick was hitting the side tricep was not the same at prejudging. He was more rotated at prejudging, which gave him a little more taper because he was.
But I gave him the side triceps anyhow.
At finals too.
Was
His side triceps one of his best shots.
What me surprised was that I liked Nick's abs and thighs better.
Abs and thigh was so much more
than Derek's. That was for me the hugest surprise ever.
I suppose that we all know though that Derek's never had a strong abs and thigh though.
No, but Nick's actually was very.
Nick's was really good. It was really good. Really, it was a strong pose.
Yeah, his midsection in that really comes in when he crunches down on his abdominals. They're blocked out, and it actually comes way in. And his legs looked a lot fuller and rounder, so it gave the X-frame a lot better.
He posed super good in that pose.
Okay, so we all agree Nick's better. Let's move on.
I could have lived perfectly when he would have won.
Listen, tell everybody what happened to Martin. I was sitting here guessing on the last podcast. Maybe they tried to fill him up too much. Maybe they depleted him too far before filling them. But now you're here, you're his coach. Tell me where you guys, because you sent me a video a week ago. We looked at it, and I was floored at what I was seeing.
It's really quite easy to explain. So the first mistake, or the mistake I made, was surely that we want him as big as possible and as full as possible.
Right.
So Martin has a kind of super interesting physique, quite similar to black people somehow, that he really needs to bring pressure in the muscle to show the skin condition. When you go to the back poses, for example, and when you see press poses, everything clicked. But the amount of water which still was in the body, which in press poses is going into the muscle and pushes against the skin, is under the skin when he does open poses with no pressure. So the front lineups, the front double biceps, the side lineup, because the way he posed his leg from the side was of maximum size. So he was relaxing the hams fully, relaxing the quad to get that big oval, and was not standing on that leg to get the pressure in. So the thing was that there was too much water left in the body for the relaxed poses, because he is not that guy with that super deep separations in the legs. He has that full balloon legs. When he presses it in the most muscular, in the abs and thighs shot, the condition was insane because the water was going into the muscle and all the lines were showing through. But in the front lineup and in the front double, that was just too less. So the conclusion out of it is that his body needs just to get sucked down even more to be good in also those relaxed poses, because now we know for sure that size isn't an issue anymore. That
You
was
keep saying that-
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute, please. I have to address this. I've heard Martin say it now, and I've heard you say it a couple times. Size is still an issue. You don't think so? Ben?
Also, Tyler doesn't think so. Also, Steve doesn't think so.
Okay.
So,
hold on a minute. I'm not going to talk about people that aren't here. I'll get Steve or Tyler on the podcast if I can, and I'll ask them, but they're not here, so I can't touch on that. Ben and James, I'll ask you guys because you're sitting here. Do you think Martin is big enough when he's standing next to Nick or Derek?
No, I think in that lineup, if he'd have come 100% and been hard and dry, he'd have lost out muscularity wise.
James?
I don't know. When Martin walks out, let me just explain. When Martin walks out and you see his silhouette and his shoulder width, like he's wide, I think it's not a case of overall muscle. It's just obviously just areas. Because in certain areas he does have enough muscle. Most areas.
Well, I'm not.
I think in most areas he has enough muscle.
Let me ask Stefan a question here, because his leg, like when he's full, like when you go to like drying him out and pulling, do you notice that his quads lose it a little more? Like there's obviously areas that will lose a little.
They are still bigger than the other ones.
Right. Then that's what my question is. It's like if you'd have pulled him down, say harder into this show, would his legs have held up and been?
I think good enough,
That's
because if
good.
you take a look
Yeah,
at the
I think
side
so.
leg, or it's just that huge balloon, you know. So I really think that the size
understand.
wouldn't have been an issue.
I think I understand what Ben is saying. When I look at this, if I look at the legs, Martin's got the best legs on stage. They're not as conditioned, so I don't know what they look like if they were completely peeled out.
Yeah, you see when he flexes it, you know, when you then go forward to the, let's say, most muscular abs and thighs, you see
where I see the difference, Stefan, in size is the upper body. When
it's the lat a little bit, but he's also raising his shoulder too much and not pressing it down.
Okay, hold on a minute. Can I just say one thing before we carry this on? Martin is my athlete, and I want him to be the best fucking bodybuilder on stage. So I'm not coming at this from a point of trying to talk him down. I'm just strictly saying what I see.
Yeah.
Maybe we see different things. I'm just telling you what I see. James, Ben, you guys can chime in. When I look at this, I see bigger legs than everybody on stage. I see chest is pretty equal, but the lat, shoulder, arm area, I don't feel like is up to the same par with.
Compare the arms to Derek arms.
Yeah, I only see it
Yeah,
really
he's
in the
good.
lats. For me
He's-
personally, I only really see it in the lats,
he-
which is weird because from the back shots,
Yeah,
his
it's
lats look thick.
that's a posing issue because he doesn't push it down too much, you know.
Mm.
Even here, take a look at the arms. I don't know why they are smaller. They aren't.
Yeah, I think he just
They are
needs
just
more
different
lat from the
shape.
front. I feel like he just needs more lat from the front.
Also here, I don't see the size issue. Sorry.
But I weren't there,
No,
so
but
you
no,
guys
but
have
then,
your
No,
own.
but
but then
hold on.
how much water has he got in him that's giving him that extra fullness? and
Right, because if
size?
you look at the side leg, right, the side leg is the same size as the other side legs, but the lack of detail is like how full did you have to make
Then
them?
go to the final and take a look when he gives pressure on the leg, and you see there's no difference. And the condition of the side leg is quite the same as the others.
No,
Go to finals.
Stefan, I can't agree with that. I was sitting right behind the judges.
Yeah, but go to
There
finals.
is
There are
no,
pictures.
I don't know where the finals photos are. There is no photo, pre-judge, finals, or anything where the detail on the side leg is the same. Martin's strength is his balloon-like muscle, but he does not have the detail of the other three guys here. He has the same size and even better shape, but it needs to be carved in, and that's where
But that's nothing which changes the size. That structure of the muscle which needs to be built up
But
over a longer time.
But hold on a minute, it does change the size, because if you're inflating a muscle with carbs and you're losing detail, that's a size issue. Because that means if you pulled the carbs down a bit to get the etching in the
but even
round.
Even if the leg would have been super flat, those separations in the side leg he doesn't have because he doesn't have that kind of muscle maturity right now.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the
Yeah,
size
that's what I would have.
The size won't change that much.
No, I think the more size he has, the more he can dig down and show a harder density, more mature muscle.
That's kind of what I'm
Yeah,
getting.
it's just one of them, and it's sometimes because like we know this, you can bring some people down, they don't earn extra new details. So like for the sake of putting someone down 5-10 pounds more, whatever the fuck you do.
Yeah,
some people don't. Some people just don't get new lines.
Yeah, but we've seen Martin. Like
he's never had the most lines.
No, when he did
he's always had good in the hamstring.
And what was that prep that he showed us from like 2021? I think
North Americans. I think it was. He's like skinned out of his mind. And
yeah,
then
but that was just
and then
small,
the Texas
you know?
Pro, and then but that's what I mean. If he's bigger,
that's what we're talking about.
He digs down into that condition, he'll be 245 because he's that much bigger.
Yeah, I always wonder.
Like at this, like I think what Ben is saying is right now he was 245 at this show. If he was 235,
240.
If he was 240, okay, it's 240. If he was 235, what would that condition look like? Would it look the same? Would it look more detailed? Would it look? But then he's going to be smaller. So that's kind of my point. Is maybe he still needs more tissue.
He will. 240. Anyway, he will get more tissue. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
Anyway, he will get. But Stefan, the point is,
I think we're saying the same thing, because you're saying he doesn't have the level of maturity the other guys have. That's the same thing as saying he just needs more tissue.
Yeah, but still he's not. What you say is that it's still that mass difference, which was actually nowhere except the lat from the front. Anywhere else, the tissue, because even if he would go down 5 pounds, do you think that he would then be a super small bodybuilder and not being able to challenge them with?
No, because that was the Olympia. That was the Olympia look, right? Pretty much.
Exactly.
Okay, hold on a minute.
So
when I look. Okay, I don't want to go too far with it. I just think if he adds 5 or 10 pounds,
then he can come down on more.
Then he'll have the muscularity he needs to really strip out the muscle and get the detail he needs. That's I could be wrong. That's just what I'm thinking.
Which is kind of the process. Still 4 or 5 more months.
Yeah, I think you guys are saying the same thing. It's not like, oh, we're in an urgency to pack on mass. It's just a function of get back in the gym and eat your meals, do the training, and the size will accumulate.
Yeah, but we're saying the same thing, but then Stefan will say it's not size, but it is size. Because if he needs more tissue, that means it's size.
For me, it's really
And when
more
you say-
quality and
and-
more
and-
denseness, because
and-
it grew so fast that it now just needs to be curved out more, you
But
know?
those are just words that bodybuilding people use for more tissue. When you say more density, that's just the tissue. Just building more
For me-
tissue will build more density.
For me,
More
more tissue
maturity.
means going up with the weight and being heavier. For me, not
No, you
action.
can say exactly the same weight and be bigger because you're gaining
Yeah.
muscularity. Like if Martin never gets on stage heavier than 240, but he just
I
gets
think that's
harder
good.
and
Yeah,
dry, like
exactly.
he's getting bigger.
Yeah.
He is
For
getting
sure.
bigger by function.
What is
you know,
this
so
is the
it's-
situation most bodybuilders are in. Most people don't, especially when they don't get in the condition they want because they're fearful of losing that fullness. The answer to that equation would be just have more muscle that you can come down further. We've
Right.
said this all the
It's
time.
that Dorian
Yeah, Dorian
principle,
always had
right?
muscle to spare. Like he made sure he was adequately
Yeah.
muscled. Even Flex Lewis used to say the same to me. Like he used to say, Jay, I kind of like made sure I had actually excess muscle in certain areas so that when I dieted down, it was all there. Like I didn't have to worry. Like there was no chasing a certain amount of muscle in areas.
I don't know why.
You need a lot of muscle, man.
I don't even know why this is even a debate. Martin's fucking what, 28 years old?
27.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a normal thing. Like
Yeah,
guys,
yeah, absolutely.
the guy's 27 years old. He
Mhm.
just needs more muscle tissue.
Yeah.
That's it. So
Better muscle tissue.
when I say he needs more size, that shouldn't be an outrageous claim for a guy who's 27 years old. He's competing with guys who are 3 or 4 years older than he is. So I don't think it's an outrageous claim to make. It's pretty normal actually that a guy who's 27 needs more tissue and doesn't have the maturity yet. And when I say and also the other thing is when you say, oh, it's just a couple spots, these spots can make they
Well,
can
also,
they can make a big difference in the illusion. Like when you say, oh, it's just lats from the front.
Yeah.
That changes the whole pose.
but also,
reason-
I'm
the
not, and I'm not an
The
idiot.
whole
I know.
reason, sorry, James, one more thing.
Yeah,
The whole
but
reason-
Lutz
the whole reason
doesn't care
Derek
at
is winning-
Derek because
Wait a
they
minute.
are
The
big.
whole reason Derek is winning the front double bicep is because of his lats from the front.
Yeah, and for you it's unnecessary, and Nick is better because of that, because Lutz don't count.
No,
You need to decide one time they count,
Hold
one
on a
time
minute.
not.
I'm not
The
saying
what
that's
I
not
was
what
going
I
to
said
say.
they don't count. They do count. They count always.
What
It was the balance is what counts when I was talking about Nick and Derek.
Yeah.
What go ahead.
Yeah,
James.
but still,
Sorry.
then we have the front double, and in the back it
The-
looks completely fine.
Also, the thing with any bodybuilder, if there is an imbalance, if their side does need work, the realism is this: you can't. You need to be in your surplus to build muscle everywhere. You just have to be more. During that time, you have to build. You can't build muscle for free. You're going to have to put weight on again, get heavy, sort out your training so it benefits those areas. Because you can't make one area grow. It's just how much attention you pay into all the areas. Because that's what stimulates the growth. So if, say, Martin, for example, I'm not saying he has to do this, but let's say he went away and he had like a lat focused training regime for the next 5 months, and everything else is like kind of scaled just to like maintenance, and the only thing that kind of grew was his lats because he's so focused on them. He would still have to be doing what he would have done in any off season. You'd have to go up with the food a bit, surplus, grow muscle. It's just where's the muscle going? You know,
Right.
you can't do that without increasing calories. It costs something. It costs money. There's a currency. You know.
Big Dog here says Nick is way more dense at the same age. Nick has very different muscle than Martin, but I don't think he's the same age. Isn't Derek, Nick a few years older? I mean, it doesn't really matter, right?
They're close. They're in the same generation. You know.
Listen, it doesn't matter. Every physique is
It's all different muscle,
created-
man. Like it's
created
like we said
different-
earlier.
yeah.
Martin's got like that kind of like the black bubbly round muscle, like we said
Yeah.
earlier, and then Nick's got like that edged, chiseled kind of with that typical white kind of muscle. Dorian kind of like angular, kind of gritty looking, not very
Somebody
it's not meant to be pretty,
Somebody just commented Nick is 31 years old.
Okay,
So, but I do agree. Nick
it's all different genetics.
Nick had a
man, so-
different look to his muscle even at
Yeah,
a younger age. So everybody's different. So I don't know if that
Yeah.
really matters, but it is all I was implying is that it's normal for a 27-year-old to need more muscle to stand with guys older. Doesn't
For me,
necessarily
but for me, it's really muscle maturity which is most needed. More than size is quality and density in the bubbly muscle, because
Okay,
I still think that's possible to get the muscle which is there, which is balloonish, to get into more quality, more separation, deeper separation, more striations, which comes with time.
Right.
the size.
Still on the back, everybody needs more muscle. Always, you know. But
Right.
I think more beneficial for quite now and for the short time is getting more, just more quality in the tissue.
Yeah,
So
sure.
are we basically just saying, like, like, take anyone's physique, let it train for another 6 months hard. Is that what ultimately adds to the quality? Is
Yeah.
it just about repetition on the, like, let's say I didn't put on any muscle, none of us put on any muscle in the next 6 months. We were on the same food for 6 months, but we trained very fucking hard. Will we look slightly different in
Yeah,
regards,
better,
Yeah,
better
in
it's
regards
maturity.
to,
no, you put on
that's the
muscle.
question.
You're not gonna put. You're saying don't put on scale weight. You are putting on muscle because you're getting denser and harder and
Well, that's what I'm
by a
asking.
function.
Is
So
it possible to change your look just from time under
yeah,
the bar within the
yes.
same calories for 5 months, whatever the fuck? Does repetition create that this whole thing we're on about? Because it is an old bodybuilding term, isn't it? Like the reps create the detail.
I think
And
so.
The work.
there you
Yeah.
go then. So that's
Just
why I'm
look at
wondering.
just look at a 50-year-old bodybuilder and a 25-year-old bodybuilder. The
Yeah.
muscle
Yeah, but
the muscle looks different.
for sure, and that's what I'm saying. Can you take a physique that maybe lacks a little bit of detail, give
Yeah.
them 5 solid months of training
Yeah.
I
vigorously?
think Dexter showed that how you really can
Yeah.
improve in the
Yeah.
look within the same range of weight you always stay.
Well, look at the top classic guys, right? That are maxing like
Yeah.
they're gaining maturity, but they're staying at the same weight cap.
I'm gonna
Right?
ask a question. I'm gonna ask a question because you guys coach, yeah. I've even noticed, like, with a physique, like personally myself, for example, depending on what the cycle was into the show, how does my muscles sit and look? I can do the similar training into a show, and certain compounds, we call it, has a different look on my physique. Some things keep me fuller and more bubbly and less separated.
Definitely.
Some things let me look harder and more gnarly and dialed in, even though other factors are pretty similar.
Definitely.
What do you think on that as well, Fouad? Do you think that's a possibility?
That what? Sorry,
That,
say
that, so you could prep for a show, you could do two different shows.
Cutting drugs or bulking drugs.
Well,
That's what he's
two
asking.
different shows, two different cycles going into the show. Sometimes you'll notice on certain drugs you maybe are a little bit more inflamed but full and don't have the same separation, but you feel great.
yeah.
And then you might do another prep for a show where you actually feel a little bit flatter, but you have a lot more detail,
Yeah.
and it's just a different cycle. You haven't changed many other factors. It's not like
Yeah.
the food or the. So that's what I'm saying. So even I think drugs also sometimes have quite a big an effect on how the physique looks as well.
Yeah.
And then
100%.
it's finding for the person the solution that is best for them. Do you, for example, would a bubbly person benefit from something that doesn't normally create that look?
So you know what's interesting? I've had pretty good success in the last 6 months to a year, not using the classical kind of cutting orals of like Winstrol or Anavar, and I use
Mm,
Anadrol. I use Anadrol instead with these guys,
Live own.
and I really like the look that I'm getting from my guys, even when they're deep in a deficit and pre-contest. I
So
run it
so
all into
okay.
social.
So for example, like a white guy, yeah, relatively run a little bit flatter normally. I would say
Yeah,
Anadrol, because you're trying
yeah.
to do the opposite to what their genetics are trying to do. A black guy, maybe not Anadrol.
Well,
Do you know what I mean? Is that kind of, is it as simple as that?
I think, James, what you're talking about is probably more water retention than anything.
For sure, like,
Well,
because it's a
well,
genetic. Yeah,
Anadrol is a great. It gives you a better ability to store muscle glycogen as well,
That's
right?
what I'm talking. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is
Which is
like,
and also you don't get no aromatase if you're controlling estrogen. So
I think what you're just, I, for my lack of knowledge, but what I would say from what you're saying is just some drugs are going to make you retain more water, whether it's in the muscle or not.
for sure,
It's going to give you a rounder look.
and that's what I'm saying. But some physiques can benefit from that.
Agreed.
Some
So
not.
yeah,
If you're a guy that holds a lot of water naturally,
don't do it.
you probably don't need it or
Whereas
don't.
if you're dry as a bone
yeah,
but tend to be a little bit flat,
yeah. I think if you're say like even in off season, you get guys that don't really hold a lot of water,
mm,
even when in a surplus and you know on like test and EQ and whatever. I typically won't put them on, say, like Winstrol or something like that because they, you know, when the calories are low and they're depleted, they're going to be pretty dry anyway. So I'll lean towards something like an Anadrol to
Yeah.
maintain their fullness. And you can
Right.
see different physiques as they progress through an off season into a prep.
Sass is a friend of mine, and I know Sass. He doesn't mind Anadrol. I'll just say
It doesn't
he's
mind
got
it,
he
yeah.
but he's got a physique that concentrated all off season when he's heavy. Like he's dry all the time. He's never holding that kind of retentive look.
Right.
So again, it's just interesting depending on the physique and what's kind of applicable to them, depending on their genetics, I suppose.
Overall, what did you guys think of the Pittsburgh show for the first year?
I weren't there, you guys were, but I
I
thought it
think
looked
it
like a
was
good show.
good for an American show.
What does that mean?
that
normally not
European
as-
that European shows are produced much better. You
You
know,
think so?
except they are not. I don't think so. I know it.
They are pretty good, the European shows. Like Emilio and those guys, they do a really.
Europeans are so fucking snobby. It's crazy.
but
Like, yeah, our shit's better.
Emilio probably
No,
does some of the best
you know,
shows.
the venues are more shiny.
I will-
whoa. Detroit
Tiny.
is whoa.
No,
Detroit-
Detroit for sure is something
But
special.
that's Canada. That's Canada.
I
No,
forgot
whoa.
about that.
Technically,
Sorry,
well,
sorry.
it's-
But
it's-
really, I
no,
apologize. I
It's American,
forget
but it's a
about
Canadian
Detroit.
show.
I forget about Detroit.
Did you
I
say
forget about
Canadian?
Detroit. Really, I
said, yeah,
I forgot about Detroit. But usually European shows are run better. But Pittsburgh is by far, after the Arnolds and the Olympia, the best run American show.
I think I would
I said
agree.
Detroit gets away with it because it's technically a Canadian show.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's tell it like
just across
that.
the border,
Then I didn't fucking.
It's not-
It's
with
a colonial. Let's call it a colonial show. Canadian.
Yeah. I don't want to get into that whole conversation, but yeah, I think there should be a better standard.
across the board.
I think I'll just say this one thing, and I think the IFBB should just say, look, this is the minimum standard of venue we're going to be able to you can use if you want to promote a show.
Mm.
And they should have a minimum standard, whatever their standard is, they should have a minimum standard, and that everybody should have to follow it. That way, there's not so much discrepancy in
Quality.
all the shows.
I'm biased in that I grew up with bodybuilding in theaters with bank seating, and then now we have Detroit with bank seating.
Yeah.
And for all of as good as Pittsburgh was, when I was at finals and we were sat quite far back, it fucking drove me nuts looking at people's fucking hands up here holding phones.
Yeah,
I'm like,
That's
"Would
why,
fuck
you know what?
off?"
That's why when people come to Detroit, they're like, man, I felt like I was on the stage with the
Yeah.
You can see
I'm like,
from
yeah,
every
because
fucking
the seats are bowl seating, so you feel like you're right next to the stage,
Yeah.
no matter where you're sitting.
Yeah.
The
You get that in a
problem
lot of
is-
Europeans.
Nothing beats theaters. Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is most, especially in America, right, or in North America, whatever, most people's experience of bodybuilding shows are flat seating in a hall,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they've got you don't realize how different it is until you sit and watch a bodybuilding show in banked seating in a theater. And you're like,
Noise,
holy
light,
fuck.
everything.
Yeah, the intimacy, but you can just see it above everyone's head.
Well, it feels like a show. It feels like a
Yeah.
show.
Well,
It makes a big difference.
I think the one thing Pittsburgh got right, though, for sure, is I think the backdrop wasn't distracting. I think they did a good job of putting
Time schedule was perfect.
the time schedule was good. The way they planned everything out, putting the men on one day and the women on the other, might not have been the best for ticket sales, but it was like great for timing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they did a great job for the
Yeah,
first year out.
absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
it's really hard to put on an expo of that size.
Yeah.
So I think that was really well done as well too. So
hats off
I
to
don't know.
them.
Hats off to them for their first year.
I didn't see the live stream, obviously, 'cause I was there, but I hear there's no
I didn't hear any
complaints on
complaints about it.
I saw it on the second day.
Yeah.
So the woman I did the pre-judging I saw live. The finals I did on live stream.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was not super sharp, so I don't think it was HD.
Right. But it was Gilco was there too, though.
Yeah, but maybe maybe
wonder-
They probably
the
didn't have enough
traffic
bit rate.
was
They didn't have enough bit rate. Or
the
whatever.
bandwidth
Yeah,
was
the
not
theater.
nice.
You know, we had that issue with the theater.
Hold on a minute. This is the only reason so we ran Detroit off my fucking cell phone. Okay. So I don't know if that's it. What I think is maybe the clarity that comes through from the live stream might be from the venue itself.
Yeah.
Ah.
Like, do you wonder if maybe Detroit, because it's in a theater and the lighting is so perfect for the stage, that the live stream comes through very crisp?
It was perfect. Detroit live stream
But
was
because what I'm thinking is like it's still Gilco, same guy, same equipment,
Mm.
and they couldn't have had worse internet than we had because we ran it off our fucking phone. So I'm wondering if maybe the venue, because it's so big, that you
Yeah.
don't get the same kind of lighting and like
Maybe you had like some bleed from the lighting.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
bled
for
out.
sure. Yeah, you get the if there's external lighting, it's not the stage for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of shows, the Arnold Classic is deciding that they are going to go
What the fuck?
tit for tat with the Olympia.
Cool.
And they're like, oh, you raised it to 600, we're going to raise it to 750. Anybody watching a live stream who is not
Fucking
hasn't
wild.
seen the news yet, the Arnold Classic has decided to raise first place prize money from $500,000 to $750,000. This is fucking crazy, man.
And when you do the double with UK, you have 1 mil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Because
250.
UK is 250.
Are they putting the UK back in?
Yes, it's 100% sure next
Yeah,
year
it's
UK, and it's
March.
250 for UK. So when you have the double, that's the sense of it.
Is the
When you
UK
have the double, you get 1 mil.
Is the UK going to be the same as it was before, like 2 weeks after the
I
Ohio?
think so. Yeah, same time.
Holy shit.
1 mil.
So if you win Detroit,
Do Detroit, do Arnold, and then
you
Detroit,
really
then you win 1,030,000.
Oh,
Exactly.
No, but
Peter.
listen, actually, Detroit's first next year. Sorry, we're February 21st. Yeah. Well, if you could get me a fucking ESN sponsorship, we could boost it to 50.
Yes.
If ESN got
There
the
you
bucks, baby. You got to put that money in. No, but what was I going to say? Just a note for people. Next year, any amateurs watching, we have moved Detroit to February 21st, so we're 2 weeks before the Arnold Classic. So if you're an amateur and you want to get your fucking pro card, if you're anywhere in the United States, you can compete in Detroit, get your qualification for the Arnold, go to the Arnold and get your fucking pro card, and then you can compete in any show after that, whatever you're pro.
the Arnold is the hardest show to get a pro card at. You know that, right?
Ben, you're supposed to be a fucking promoter. Ben's like, don't bother, you're not gonna win.
I didn't know. I didn't say that. Someone's
Listen,
gonna win it. Someone's
rise to
gonna
the
win it,
challenge. Rise to the challenge, guys.
Christ, Ben. Fuck. Listen, the Arnold's the really easy place to get your pro card. Come to Detroit and qualify so you can go to the Arnold. Listen, even if the Arnold is hard to get your pro card at,
It's an experience.
it's something. Listen, you said something on the last podcast that a lot of people resonated with because they clipped it and they've been tagging me in it. Ben said something that I think a number of us have been saying for years, that it doesn't matter if it's a hard show to get your pro card at. If you deserve to be a pro, you're going to win. So it doesn't matter if you get it. If you don't win that show, then you probably don't deserve to.
And what are you gonna do? You're gonna fucking retire because you didn't win a pro qualifier at one time? No. If it's your dream, you keep going. You do another show, another show, another show.
So I guess my whole point is timing wise, for those people who want to try and get their pro card, timing wise now we're 2 weeks before, so you can get on stage at Detroit, qualify, and then go to the Arnold and potentially get your pro card. But more importantly, what do you guys think about the bodybuilding almost becoming like a fucking real sport now? We got like real money. Like 750 is fucking. Listen, it's not Formula One, but it's still good.
No, I would say it's better than most other sports if you are realistic. Okay, you have Formula One, tennis, football, that super posh sports.
Yeah.
But there are handball, whatever, skiing, even on high level, they are all less paid. So it's getting better and better.
Guys, all I can say is I think it's really cool that in my bodybuilding lifetime, we went from $100,000 to the Arnold, and all the other shows except for the Olympia were $10,000. All of them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember because I remember when I turned pro, it was like the year after I turned pro, or maybe 2 years after I turned pro. Durham Charles won every fucking small show, and he was called the king of the $10,000 shows because they were all 10,000. Sorry, go ahead, Stefan.
No, finish.
No, that's it. I was just going to say, like,
He did. He used to win loads of shows.
That's how
I had that chat with William last week because he's really in the middle of that development.
All of it, yeah.
And he said it's just very lucky to see how much more money you can earn now.
Yeah.
Because even in Europe, we sometimes didn't have 10,000 euro shows. It was sometimes even lower than that, even for open bodybuilding. I don't know, what did you get it for your France win back then? Can you remember?
10,000 probably, right, James?
I got one of my ones was 9,000.
I think even went lower.
So actually, it went lower.
I think when I won the Europa Pro, I think that was 9,000.
I just want to address this. ELR says, bruh, the new money evens out with the cost of living now, to be honest. LOL. I really hate when people diminish these things. Listen, I know the cost of living is higher. I get it. But I'm just going to explain this. Bodybuilders as a whole, without the prize money, are all making a lot more money. Okay. Supplement companies are paying more money. There is YouTube money that most of them are making. There's multiple contracts they can get. So it's like they can have a supplement sponsor, a clothing sponsor, an energy drink sponsor, a lifting gear sponsor. So these guys are walking around with 4, 5, 6 sponsors each. plus YouTube. So that's all extra money that they weren't making before. And now the prize money, the reason it's so awesome is not because, by diminishing it by saying, the cost of living is higher. This is the reason why it's so awesome. They don't fucking have to. They don't have to do that. The Arnold Classic could keep their show at $100,000 a year or for the winter, and everybody will still go do it.
They want a title.
But also the 30K shows, that's really a huge improvement, you know?
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, people shouldn't diminish this. Like, it's a really, really big deal. And listen, as a promoter myself, it's not easy to offer
30K.
Listen, I understand that the big shows like the Olympia and Arnold, they have a number of sponsors, so maybe you guys think it's easy, but it's not easy. And even at the small shows, like, New York, Weinberger bumped the money to 30,000 tomorrow. And you have a number, and Dubai's coming out. They're like, I think they're doing
100, right?
100 or 150.
I think
like
150.
But they don't need, they've got oil money, so it doesn't fucking count.
It doesn't count.
That does not count.
It just comes out of the ground, you know?
Yeah, they're like, no, just give them it. Give them that.
It's good. It's like in their pocket. They're just like, whatever. No, but like there's so many shows now that are 20, 30, 50, like bodybuilders can make a real fucking living now. Like, I know you have to be winning, but like before you could be winning and still make nothing.
Well, no, because what's third place? It's not just winning, because third place at those shows
they're all getting bumped.
Everything's getting like dragged up, and I don't want to.
William does quite good.
Yeah. I don't want to make
a good example.
Yeah,
I don't want to make James uncomfortable here, but I kind of want to give him a bit of a mention, because it was been pretty arduous to get him to accept his prize money for Detroit. Because I don't know what ESN and YouTube.
Telling him that we don't have any more money to get.
I don't know what ESN and YouTube are paying him, but he was like, "Oh, don't worry about it." I'm like, "What the fuck you mean?" So I just want to. James is a good lad.
I bodybuild to bodybuild. So
I know. I thought that was just. It's crazy. But...
you can't just give that to us. We're gonna give it to you eventually. Like, you're gonna have to take it.
I'm just not driven by it. I know. Yes, I've always been driven by the championship, the title.
I get it, but it's still your money. So now we've put you.
All right, so James, next year if you win Detroit, we'll give you the third place and the first place money.
Yeah, we'll just put them together.
But you need to write it on the check-in. You know, combined
2025.
You know what? Because when I grew up and I had a dream of just owning a little masonette bin. I was always like, if I had a masonette, which is just a small one-bed house, and some titles under my belt and what I consider some good achievements, I'll be happy. And I've surpassed that by miles. I've got a 4-bed house with like titles and
three extra rooms.
Yeah, I got a kid on that. Dude, it's mad.
I just want to read this.
Is it looking different today? A little bit? Did you change something again?
Maybe just move the chairs around. Yannika's been playing some PlayStation.
You did some movies.
She's been playing some Assassin's Creed.
Real quick, I just want to read these comments. Danny says, "Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Each of you provides so much value each week. Truly grateful for all of you. Proud of you guys. Truly." The next comment is from Rio, and he says, "Here's $10. Freaky Fouad is a cheapskate. Here's some money for the Detroit Pro prize pool." Thank you. I will use that $10 towards our show next week.
Imagine I will see how much you can get together on Super Chats.
If everybody puts in
Super Chats, we can up the money even more if we do.
No, Super Chats are what's fueling these bikes.
True.
James, I forgot to ask you, and I feel really bad about not asking you. How is Yannika? She's got to be close now.
7 weeks.
7 more weeks.
She's like, if you ask her, it's funny. If you ask Yannika, she goes, "I'm 7 weeks out."
It's like a show, right?
Yeah.
She's prepping,
yeah. So no, she's great, and it's weird, man. I'm feeling all the kicking and shit now. It's kind of crazy. Man.
Are you?
Yeah.
Does it feel good? Can I ask you this? Because we had this. Remember, we had the debate when you were prepping about how little you cared.
Yeah, look at my eyes.
What, are you crying?
It's starting to water because I'm thinking about it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm not normally like that. So today, actually, I'll tell you something. I went to the gym today and I trained, and I was listening to some music. I was listening to Evanescence's first album, which is a great album, by the way. Fallen, Evanescence.
Yeah. And
I was just changing my whole perspective. I was like, I love bodybuilding. I'm like, you know what? There's some people that they have a kid and they're like, I'm done with bodybuilding because I want to focus on my family. I'm like, motherfucker, I've got more reason now to do better than ever because I've got someone that I want to provide for. Yeah. So I was in the gym and I kind of like put myself in this emotional position that I haven't had for a long time, where I'm like, everything that counts today because this is for her.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, and that's
That's
powerful. So I
it.
think I feel pretty fucking good about it.
yeah,
That's it.
that's amazing. He's pumped now. He's going back to the gym.
Sweating already. Look.
No,
Yeah.
that's incredible, man. I love that. I love
It's
hearing
weird. It's weird. It's been like it's kind of the opposite to the emotions that have driven me before in the gym.
that. Yeah, because it's selfless instead of selfish.
Yeah, and it's happy.
You're right.
Mm.
Hasn't been happy a lot of time, as we know. You know, so this is it's interesting. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it.
Well, I would imagine, and I don't have any kids, but I would imagine that it just means there's a lot more to life, so you can be happy.
I hope so. Like Ben's obviously a parent. I don't know how he holds it in because I'm like, I'm not really emotional in the moment. Like I'm feeling her feet under Yannika's skin pushing against me, and it's when I go away and I contemplate what's actually happening and and then I think about the future and like I've got to create a world that's good for her, and I'm like, whoa, shit. That's when it gets pretty deep. You know, like when you got a pet, like you want to build a nice house for it. It's like that
Right.
times a fucking thousand. It's like shit. So yeah, we'll see.
Can I just can I please just for everybody who watches this podcast, and you please keep this moment in mind because there was so many of the people that were watching the podcast that were like, James doesn't care and James is fucking heartless and James. This is what we're trying to say. When you're in prep, it's not that he doesn't have these feelings or doesn't give a shit. It's like you physically can't feel them sometimes. And I don't know if it's because the hunger or the hormones.
I say all the time, guys. I will tell you now. One of the biggest things that has an effect on your emotional state is the time on drugs. So
Yeah.
you have to have your times where you scale back and get your head back in a good space. You know, collectively get your thoughts together, plan ahead, think about what you want to do, blah blah blah. You'll go for a long time if you do that.
This
Just don't
guy,
be.
James, this guy wrote, Woody 5GT wrote, I've spent 2 hours screaming at my girls to tidy their bloody room.
I know.
Nothing better.
I know Woody personally as well, so that's funny.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, he comes into so that's cool. Yeah, man. I'm gonna have a lot of headache. I know that.
Yeah, I think
It's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
well, I've been around for Paul's daughters growing up. You know, his one daughter is, I think, turning 15. The other
Wow.
one's 11 or 12 now, I think.
Yeah.
No, 10 or 11. I can't remember. And he's going through it now because the one's 15 years old. Stefan, how old is your daughter?
16.
Just got past that shit.
She
When-
gets 16 in June.
When did you start, or did you get to a point where you felt her like not being your little girl anymore?
It's kind of strange because is that very awkward to say when I say my daughter is my best friend?
No,
No,
it's not awkward.
that's totally. I think my
My brother and my nephew are like they ride motorcycles.
You know, we
They
don't
do.
have that parent-child relationship, and
Yeah.
we don't have that since 5 or 6 years. She's
Yeah.
employed at my company, does the bookwork for me since she's 11.
Right.
We have the same interests, we have the same hobbies, kind of.
Great. Yeah,
So
that's great.
we have that. My only fear is that you know she for sure her interests will go apart from my interests, and then it's more like losing a friend than
Right.
losing the
Do you ever
daughter.
do you take her karting or no?
We did, but at the moment, you know, most of the time we are done with we do normal cars. So she goes with me on the racetrack, she goes buying cars, she goes watching
Oh, so
cars.
you take
Actually,
your normal cars to the track.
yeah. So today, actually, because she's getting 17, she's gonna get her first car.
That's awesome.
2 hours ago, we were having a look for her first car and
What are you buying?
trying to.
Something good, hopefully.
Yeah, you know, we're gonna buy a company car, and in Austria, cars are double as expensive as in America because of the taxes.
Right.
Except it's a motherfucking electro car. Jetzt is my daughter telling me, Papa, you tell the whole world and myself for 15 years that they should fuck themselves with that electro shit, and I should get one. But the point is that she also wants fancy shit, you know?
Yeah.
And the electro is you get fancy shit for half of the money because of the taxes.
Right.
And actually, the new Smart, they had a complete new branding. And Smart #5, there you get for 65,000 euro a car that you go nuts. It has 700 horsepower.
Her first car? Holy
It's a
shit.
Brabus.
How many
Brabus
horsepower?
700.
A Brabus?
It's a
Fuck.
Brabus Smart
Brabus,
#5.
That's crazy.
That's the plan
She's
now.
gonna grab us for our first car.
My
Holy
my wife
shit.
fucking
That's what she's
hates
getting.
me. Yeah, you need the Brabus. You need to add Brabus to
I'm
that.
gonna 1 second.
So it's a Brabus one. Yannick, I'll just educating you on this while you're here.
Is this it?
So
Yeah.
this is what she's getting. So Brabus is
And
like
you-
a crazy.
We
I think
took
it's
a
a
look at
strong-
it today. The material quality and everything is just completely nuts. It's completely insane.
Let me see this fucking thing. It's too much flashing. Can you just show me the car?
Give me the car for fuck's sake. Stop talking to me about it. Show me it.
Come on. I don't want to look at you. Okay. That's kind of cool.
It's
Mate,
really
for a fucking
I think
that's for a first like
Yeah,
for a
driving.
car that's cool. Let alone the first
Cinema.
car.
take a look at the details.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
0 to 103.8 seconds.
What?
0 to 100.
That's great. Good for her, man. Good for you that you can buy it for her.
Absolutely, you've worked hard.
Yeah, that's
why-
that's the plan. But still, my wife says she's gonna kill me if I buy that. So
Oh,
we
why?
have some
even
work
more
to do.
reason. Yeah.
Because it does 0 to 100 in 3 seconds. That's why.
There's 0 to 103 seconds.
Good. She's gonna experience it from the start. Let her fucking have
I have a
some.
smart car for my first car.
Yannick, are you going to say hello quickly? You can say.
Hi,
Show
Annika.
us
Yeah,
the
no,
belly.
probably.
Show us the
Me-
belly. We need
everyone
the
wants to
belly. We
see.
need to see the
Everyone
belly.
wants to see.
Come on, let's see.
Come.
What did we decide to call her
Uh,
again? Alexandria or something?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Have a
god, look at
title.
that. Holy shit.
Oh, that's good. It's
Can
really
actually-
awesome.
Apparently, she's quite tall.
I forgot what Viking
yeah.
we picked for her.
What Viking name did we pick for her?
Yeah, we
Which
picked
one-
her.
What name?
Yeah, because we all had
We
weird
don't
names.
have a name.
We ain't got a name yet.
Yeah,
She's
but
got a
we
podcast
had
name though. What's the
something.
podcast
Yeah,
name?
we
The
had
podcast name.
had a podcast
What did
name.
we pick?
I
It's
need
probably,
what's
it's
that?
probably Freya, wasn't it? I think you picked.
Freya.
Yeah, I
Freya.
think they were like Freya.
Yeah, I want the Freya.
She's like, yeah,
Okay.
it won't be Freya.
ChatGPT says Astrid,
Astrid.
Oh yeah, no.
Freya,
Yeah, straight.
Gone to ChatGPT, Yannick.
Thora.
Thora, the female
Ingrid.
Thor.
No.
Wait, do I need a Norwegian name?
Yeah, go on. She
Yeah,
doesn't really want a
Norwegian.
Norwegian name, but we should try.
All right, let's see what ChatGPT says for a lady
All right, we'll see what
or,
chat
or a
says
girl.
live.
Norwegian name for a girl. All right, here we go. Ellen,
Ellen.
No, that's my grandma.
That's your
Anja,
grandma, yeah. Anja?
Asta,
Asta?
No, that's my
Kari?
great grandma.
Oh, really? So two of her family have had two of these names already.
Kari, Lena.
Lena.
That's nice.
No.
Type in strong woman Norwegian.
Lena means tender or delicate.
Lena means tender or delicate.
That's a weak name.
So she said that's a
A
weak
weak
name. She said, no, that's a weak name.
We need strong woman.
Norwegian girl, strong name. All right, let's see.
If we did come up with it on this podcast, her real name, that would be quite epic, but I just can't see it happening.
Some
Gunvor.
options.
Oh, that's good.
One more,
we are
one.
going in the right direction.
Gunvor.
Gunvar.
Dunvar.
No, gun.
No.
Gunvar.
Gunvor.
Dunvar with a G.
Gunvor.
Say that. Like, she can pronounce it properly. Was it
Gunvor.
Gunvor? That's
Yeah,
Gunvor?
that's good. That's good. Gunvar.
That's what it's going to be.
I like this one, Ragna. Ragna
That's,
means
he likes
strong.
Yeah, but
Ragnar.
that's main. That's main.
No.
That's main.
How do you say it?
Ragna.
Say it to the mic properly, because we need an education lesson. Quickly, say it to the mic.
Ragna.
Ragna.
You don't know Ragnar Lodbrok?
Yeah, but
like-
it's just the way she's saying it, isn't it?
And if you put an R at the end, it's a male.
It's a boy, it's got the R at the end, so they can use
Okay,
it for
there's
both.
also I like Frida. Frida means
That's Frida.
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 peaceful ruler.
Too short, she says.
I have really bad experience with Frida.
Okay, go on.
You know, when I was
what did Frida do to you?
no, when I was small and I come out of a super Catholic family,
Yeah.
I had to be a ministrant in the church, you know.
Yeah.
And the girl or the woman who worked at the church,
Yeah.
you know, and took care about anything, she looked like a man.
Okay.
And she was called Frida, and she always beat us up when anybody was talking. Back in the church, we got one left, one right.
God.
You don't want to mess with Frida.
No, yeah, Frida was
Stay
hardcore.
away from Frida, she's hardcore.
All right, I got Solveig.
Solveig? What's that? Do you think is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Solveig.
Solveig?
It means sun strength.
Sun strength. Oh,
Uh,
can't please.
And then there's Suniva.
Suniva. Maybe it's pronounced wrong.
Here, I'll show you. Let me just show you.
Sunniva.
Sunniva?
Sunniva.
Sunniva?
Sunniva.
These are the top 10.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Top 10. She-bear. How
She-bear.
do you pronounce this?
She-bear. She-bear is the best one.
Wait. How do you say that?
Isha.
Isha. What, that bottom one?
Yeah.
You would never guess that.
I never heard that.
She-bear. I just call her she-bear. Don't worry. Don't
Just call it she-bear. Just call it
That's
she-bear.
incredibly cool.
She-bear's
It's a
fucking
she-bear.
Strongest woman's name.
Sigrid, that's a female artist. She's quite popular at the moment.
Thora, Sigrid. I know Sigrid because that's her name in a lot of the
I like Athena.
Athena.
Yeah.
I like Gunvor.
Gunvor. It's so hard.
Gunvor.
He
Gunvor
loves
is
Stefan loves that.
Gunvor sounds
That's
like
sounds like I'm gonna have a. It sounds like she's gonna probably date women. and
You know,
beat me up.
Gunvor Hollingshead. Gunvor.
Morgan and Brianna is nice. No, too boring.
Too boring, he says, or no? What's the one below that? Sarah. What's this one?
So
These are
what?
Celtic names.
Oh, they're Celtic. None of us.
Yeah,
know how to
well,
pronounce
we already went through the Norwegian one.
it. We've done the Norwegian.
you gave us 5.
We went on to do stuff.
Andromeda.
So we have one similar to Thora.
Yeah, what's your one that's similar?
Theodora.
Theodora. They're Theodora, they do. Okay. We'll take them into account. Similar to Thora. He's really diving in.
Ira.
Thyra.
Tora.
Thora.
Thorin.
Thorin. I like Thyris,
Thorin.
goddess of strength.
He likes this one.
Oh, that's cool.
Number 5.
No one's named
How did you say that one?
Tyris.
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 No one's named that.
What about
this is-
Thorin?
What about Thorin?
These are like what your teacher would be named.
Your teacher. Why are
Yeah.
your teacher? Why are they
These are
called?
typical teacher names.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, we can go on forever.
Thyra.
You can.
Thyra.
I do love chat for that. I go on. I do this at home.
But it's easy to say no. And no, and no, and no.
We'll keep looking. Tell her we'll keep looking.
Okay, we'll keep looking. We're still.
I have
gonna keep
a
looking.
really a question that she shouldn't be here for though.
Oh, really? What is it? What is the
Well,
question?
we were having a debate on
Is
the
it about
last-
sex?
Yeah, we were having a debate on
The knock on the door.
Go on.
Tap on the head. Tap
The
on the head.
knock on the door.
Well, hoping you don't tap the baby.
No, listen. No, not that.
Oh,
It doesn't have anything to do with your wife or pregnancy. It's
oh, I was
separate-
hoping it was like
separate
pregnant
question.
sex question. Okay,
No,
it's
do you
not,
want
it's
to?
not.
I don't want to ask pregnant sex story. That's too
It's
close.
good.
It's good.
It's good.
Ben will tell you it's good.
That's it. It's good. Okay, good.
See you later, love. Go food shopping, yeah? See you in a bit. Bye bye.
We had a debate on the last podcast, and I'm curious what you guys think.
Okay.
If you met a girl and you had anal sex on the first date,
Is it a dog?
would you continue to date her?
No.
Yeah, because like, no. She
Did
wouldn't
you
take
hear
it.
that?
She wouldn't take it. Yeah, because my head, because she likes to listen in. She wouldn't even take it out the arse anyway. She's too prim and proper.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, but why not?
She's just anti-arse. She's
Well,
anti.
I'll give you the reason why not. Paul thinks.
Oh, sorry. This is another question. If you went, why Yannicka not taking out the arse?
No.
I was like, sorry, she just doesn't like it.
Paul thinks that if she's doing anal on the first date, then she's probably a whore.
She's probably a bit like,
Yeah.
But what if her excuse is, oh, because the vagina's precious and you've got to earn that?
Oh yeah, she might. Yeah.
That's, I'd be like, you know what, respect.
Could be
Stretch.
virgin. Could be a virgin, and you are completely
Exactly.
misleading
She
it,
might have
you
been
know?
sodomized.
Yeah, it's like
100
one of
times.
those American girls that just blows like 100 guys and never puts out because they want to
Oh,
keep the
God.
virginity.
She's
right?
waiting for Prince Charming.
Yeah.
Imagine
Ben-
that. Got a loosest arsehole, but yet she's waiting for Prince Charming.
Ben, I wonder what you think. You're very progressive on these matters.
I'm not worried about it.
Progressive.
Yeah,
You're
I
not-
don't. That don't bother me at all. If she's,
You don't
Nah,
care?
she
get
doesn't.
on, if we get on and it's gonna go forever, then what do I give a fuck what we did on the first date?
Well, you meet a girl and she's amazing and she's a great, and she on the very first date you do ask them out. You're like, cool.
Yeah, fine.
It's progressed to arse to mouth now. I love that.
Why would I complain about that? What the fuck's the problem?
Now it's going to be arse to mouth, and you have to then tongue each other after.
Yeah.
Well, she wants to snog you
Yeah,
after
but
she's
it's
got her
my-
own
it's-
shit in her mouth. Yeah, cool,
If it-
sweets.
If it's with me and we're getting down, then fine. Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Listen, James, the one thing I've learned about Ben in the last 5 years of being his friend is he does not give a fuck. Doesn't give a shit.
You don't.
Okay, Stefan.
Everyone's got history and everyone's got a past, and
Stefan,
Fuck it, I don't give a
what
shit.
was your answer?
I see no problem. I think about the good in the
You guys
human
are-
being.
You guys are all way more.
Good in a human being.
They were
Yeah.
all like, fuck that, I'm not dating her again.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Who was like that? Who was like that? Who said it first?
Well, Paul
Yeah,
was
who said it first?
Paul set this
Paul-
tone, and then they were
Paul
like,
was the
"Oh,
worst. And
Paul will
then
tell you what he can get, right? Let's be honest. Like Paul is in no position to be fucking fussy about anything.
But the point is he fucked her.
yeah, but he wants to fuck her. He just doesn't want to date her after because
bottom line is this though."
she gave it
He's
up to
beat.
But
Well,
like
she
I
doesn't
say,
want to be with him after because he plowed her in the ass.
That's true. That's also true.
they could look at us and be like, "Well, you want to stick it, well, so you're just not as
So you're
you're
just as
bad."
fucked up. Yeah, that's true. I
So you
didn't.
might as well just be both on it.
Yeah, I didn't even.
Yeah, what's the problem? Fuck.
Yeah.
Mate, you need tales to tell your grandkids when you're older, don't you? At the end of the day,
I think it matters if actually no, it doesn't matter. I was gonna say if age, like we're all adults here, but
No,
like,
age does. Age was a factor that I plugged in. If I'm 20 years old and the girl's giving up ass on the first date, I'm like, okay, she's way too advanced. If I'm 40, then
no, because when I was
I'm 20 and
I
they're
was
20. That's man.
Oh no, it matters on their age. In your argument, it matters on their age because when I was 20, most of the girls I was dating were like 30 to 35.
yeah, their age matters. What I'm saying.
Right.
Ben was dating 35-year-old.
He's just rubbing in that he support the older birds.
Yeah, most of the girls I was seeing were like late
What the
20s to
fuck?
mid 30s. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I don't know how we got here. We're talking about the Arnold. Are we done talking about the Arnold?
We've gone from Arnold to pregnancy to bum,
To bum sex.
Okay.
to-
Let's go back to listen, we got to go back to New York. We got New York tomorrow.
I know.
So
So
back to my beautiful.
I did a prediction video as
software.
well, and I actually fucking forgot Bonac was doing it. I was like, oh, I don't know why I forgot that he was doing it. I was like, and then after I was like, fuck.
Well, he's here.
Yeah, so this is going to be my true.
Who wants to go first? Ben, James, or Stefan?
yeah, I've started. Anyway, I will fuck it up. Nick,
Nick,
Will.
William. These are all the guys.
I'm offensive. I say Regan.
Regan. You know what? Regan looks pretty good, and his face looks leaner than I've seen it before.
Oh, his face has never been that lean for him.
I didn't even know what. Wait, I
huh?
feel stupid for not even asking this. Because we've been talking about so much other shit.
Yeah, Regan.
You're coaching Regan. How does he look? People are waiting to see this reveal after.
Let's wait on the stage. It's everything which matters. Wait until the stage. That's everything which matters, and then we can talk.
Don't give me that shit.
And then we can talk. You know, if we would have luck, I would have got now the video from Steve from the gym, but he's standing 3 hours in the motherfucking traffic.
Okay, just tell me, in your opinion, how the prep has gone. And is he
Very
better than-
smooth,
is he better
very
than before?
smooth, very smooth. He was never that conditioned, but if he's better than before, which I think so,
Yeah.
but we're gonna see it on stage.
Okay, let me ask you this. Why did he jump out and then jump back in? Or was that just a mix up?
I just said it's time. You need to go. Close your eyes. Just do it.
But did he say, I'm going to wait till California, and you kind of talked him back into doing it?
You know, it's everyone has his mind games. Am I ready after a short break,
Yeah.
or am I not ready?
yeah.
And then I said,
Yeah.
just believe me, you will be in shape. That's no issue. And we have to start somewhere, you know.
Dude, I'm really excited to see Regan.
Me too.
I
Me
really
too.
hope he's
Because
back.
Is it,
me too. Because you know, as we know, everything comes down to doing it on stage. And especially Regan always put out or did put out a lot of content with his body, and then people were telling he's doing that for Instagram. No, he's doing it for bodybuilding, and that's what he wants to show tomorrow.
has he got one of those physiques that has changed a lot in the last 3 or 4 days into this show?
I
Like
would say the last 2 weeks were very, very productive.
Uh-huh.
Can I tell you guys, and I don't know if you guys will agree with this, but there's 2 guys in the IFBB that I think have all the potential in the world to be in the top 5, or at least the top 10 at the Olympia, that have yet to show their true potential. And one of them is Regan, and the other one is Quint.
But he had been in a brilliant condition. People always forget that
The
when he
last
got
Olympia.
8th at
But
the
it's not-
Olympia, that was really good.
The last
It's
Olympia,
not just-
it was after the Spain show, right? Because the Spain show he
hold
was
on.
not good, and then
But hold on, I'm not making a distinction of just conditioning alone. I think Quint, and Regan have the structural size and shape to be both could be Mr. Olympias if they can put it all together. So when I say Regan, I don't mean just condition. He has some areas to fill out so he can like
Still.
Regan's like a taller Derek. Regan's like a taller Derek.
Yeah.
Derek can do it.
He still has to fill out some gaps. You know, it's not there yet. It's better, but he's on the way up, and I'm happy that we we got him into condition without killing him completely.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see him. All right, let's go through and do this.
Then Sass.
Okay, so Regan, Sass. Sass looked more conditioned in his Weinberger update.
For
He's
sure,
actually heavier as well.
Insane. I think he will look insane. And he could, I think from 2 to 4, everything is open.
Sass is, you keep doing the thing, I'll just tell you, because I was speaking to Sass earlier.
Then 5, I say Creaso. I don't know if he get fixed what he needs to fix.
Yeah.
Well, he needs to fix his fucking tan.
And it's not conditioning, it's presentation and posing and all that stuff. Then, I really can't rate Kennedy, that Colossus can. He looks incredible, but I have too less knowledge about him.
Yeah.
I love how you got his Instagram name in his name.
What?
He's the only one. Colossus Kennedy.
Nobody fucking knows him.
His real name.
Other than this.
I know, we'll call him Colossus.
I don't know who Mark Arthur the Trucci is.
I don't either.
I want to see that. The other side.
He doesn't have an Instagram.
Okay, then he gets last because we don't need.
No, he got last. No, wait a second. He's last on all of our lists because Akeem knows him and he said he sucks.
Okay, so we all believe Akeem. So I take on 7 Pavel Beran. I think he looked quite good. He looked really not bad at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Go up. I don't see who's left.
There's Dennis Friedreich, Vincenzo.
Dennis is in front of Vincenzo.
Okay, and then there's also Gianluca De Lorenzo.
Who is that?
He's pretty good.
Please.
I think he's up from 212. It's this guy.
Oh, he's a bit of a tank.
Oh,
crazy
wait,
thing.
go back. So we probably need to change something.
Wow, that's a pretty fun last word.
I know him.
I don't think he's a tall guy, but like, look at these fucking legs.
Yeah,
it's a good fun last word.
I need to change. I think so. Let me see my.
Is he light in the back? His lats look a little light.
I don't know if I could find a back shot.
That means they're shit.
Then Sass is 10 pounds above Detroit, 8 pounds above FIBO.
Wow.
Him and Chris have obviously aimed to bring in Fuller.
Okay, what do you want to change?
So I instead of Dennis, I take that one.
Gianluca?
Yeah, then Dennis. And then Vincenzo.
Okay.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay. You said, James, Sass is up 10 pounds from Detroit?
From Detroit.
I have him third right now. Yeah, I think third is good. Okay.
I really think it's gonna be a battle after Nick.
I'm gonna go Nick.
Same.
You want me?
Yeah, go ahead. Nick.
Nick, Sass, William.
Oh. Are you banking on William getting tired?
No. No, I just think Sass can pip him.
Okay, go.
Regan.
All right.
Creaso.
Rizzo.
Kennedy. Now I'm just fucking picking names out of a hat. Who's the one we just saw? The Gianluca, right?
Gianluca.
He's the 212 guy we just looked at.
Yeah.
Him. I don't know who Pavel.
He was
him. He's balanced.
Pavel was
got a nice
Pavel was not bad.
Pittsburgh,
Pavel
right?
was good.
He was in
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a nice balanced, really balanced physique.
Okay. Yeah, and then Dennis, Vincenzo, and Mark.
We all just rely on Akeem.
I don't know Mark. Yeah, Mark.
It's so hard. Maybe the guy is really good.
3 or 4. Imagine if he's fucking top 3. Fuck.
Go ahead, James.
Do you have any pictures of him at all?
No. Akeem just hates him.
Yeah, maybe Akeem hates him because he's fucking like way better than he is.
So wait, Mark is who Akeem just doesn't like.
Yeah, because he's better. Because he's got a bigger back than Nakeem.
I don't know who he is.
And you pre-filled for James already on the 11.
Yeah, it's just already chosen. It's the default now. I think Nick's gonna take the win, and then, like I say, it's gonna be a battle between Sass and Bonak's gonna be the battle, isn't it? So, yeah, I'll go Sass just because he's my mate, and Williams. I think Williams gonna be top 3 as well.
Are you
So
saying
yes.
are you saying Williams not your mate?
Yeah, he is, but Sass I've known longer, so I'm going to put Sass there
Okay,
because
yeah.
I've known Sass for a long time. Just because he's my pal, and I think he's again him and William, like when they were at Detroit.
Yeah,
William, I felt was
they were pretty close.
yeah, and I think maybe if Sass has got that £10, if it's distributed pretty well, then it will give him a bit more of a chance because the difference between Sass and William is that
10
it's
pounds,
that
10 pounds is a lot, man.
it's the fault because
Yeah.
William's so dense.
Yeah.
And that's why he's so good. So I'm interested to see how it pans out. And then I'm really Michael and Regan again. I think that's their own little battle as well. I think that's another great little battle that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And Regan's obviously far superior in the back, but Krizo has some freaky body parts and is really in good condition. So I'm torn. But let's go Regan.
The only place I can see Krizo beating Regan is the arms
Mm.
and in the condition.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
chest as well, like Stefan said.
Oh, condition is really good in Regan. Let's see how it looks tomorrow.
Oh, listen, I'm not saying Regan's condition is not good, but Krizo's
Been in very good
Krizo
condition lately.
Krizo gets
Krizo's
healed,
pretty much
healed,
always.
like-
He's got some of the best condition, to be honest.
Yeah.
So let's do. I'll give Regan the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to go fourth, and then I'll go Krizo, Kennedy,
Okay.
and then to be fair, I'll go Pavel probably 7. And
But
then
could Kennedy surprise? Does anybody knows him personally?
Kennedy could be fourth. Kennedy could be fourth. I was with him at the Arnold. He was working the animal booth. He's fucking huge.
Thick.
He looks like he's in great shape. I just don't know what his density's like front to back. He's really wide.
Yeah, he's super
I don't know.
wide.
I don't know if he has that density that the other guys have.
I think Kennedy could shock everybody. The only reason I don't have him higher is because his conditioning in the last couple updates doesn't look
Like it's come forward much.
like the skin is thin enough. Like it just doesn't look like enough to me.
Kind of like a Carlos situation.
I wouldn't.
do you know him personally?
No,
No,
that's
it's not that bad. No,
No, because Carlos was in pretty good shape at the Arnold.
I didn't think. No, I think this is different than that. He's close.
I'm not. No, listen, I'm not saying he's in the same condition, but I'm saying what could hold him back is the condition.
If Regan's not, if Regan, I could see. I could
Do you
see
know what I mean by about density?
him pulling ahead of Regan and Krizo if they're not if he's in shape.
Do you see what I mean about density? Front
Yeah,
to
oh
back
yeah.
density?
I think he's got an amazing physique.
He's got the width like crazy.
Structurally so wide. His clavicles are super
The only
wide.
reason I don't have him in fourth is because I'm not sure the condition.
Yeah.
I think after this show that we see him do, future predictions will have a lot better, call on him.
Like physique wise and muscularity, I put him in fourth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He could be as high as fourth. He could easily.
Yeah.
I
I think we're all playing that Samson game now, which is he's got to prove it. You don't get a free meal ticket.
Like this one kind of threw me a bit because it was a week ago, and the separation just doesn't look deep.
Yeah,
Like,
but that might be for four. That might be
it's that goon light that we call it. Where the light's really good.
yeah.
If it doesn't show in that, then. But in that one there, he's doing an ab
Look
shot.
at the check-in. Yeah, just do the check-in picture. But
The
underneath
shot
that
below
one.
looks good. Yeah, that looks good. But then again, it might not be.
I don't
know,
see like this. This looks like it's all there, but it needs to be like another level deeper.
a bit more. Okay.
Yeah. That's how I see it anyway. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this enough condition?
We
Well,
wanna see on
depends
stage,
on-
it
yeah.
could change. It could flip so fast.
Dude, and it depends on the.
I know, I'm just
human
saying, like,
body, whether he holds. He might be one of the people that his legs tend to hold a bit more than his upper
Listen,
body.
I know we're just obviously playing a game here. Like everything could
Yeah.
change in a week,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
based on
And
what.
I'm always hard with judging or guessing when I've never seen him personally, and that's for
That's
me
the bit you need. Yeah.
the most thing where I really don't know what's going on.
I love
Fucking
his structure.
impressive shape, though, isn't it? Like the way the
His
lattice is put out.
structures. Yeah.
If he gets the conditioning right, man, I don't know.
Whoa,
He could be as
dude,
high.
He's
He
coached
can-
by Andrew, and Andrew's had some good results
Andrew
with the girls.
knows condition, yeah.
Yeah.
He's very balanced. No.
Well,
That's
hold
a
on a
very
minute.
good shot.
That's also tricky to say because I think he was coached by Andrew when he won his pro card.
He still is.
Yeah, but
I
this
think
is
he still is,
But
but
this isn't
the
crazy.
low there was standing.
Yeah, he could be tighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't crazy condition, so I don't know if like
Is
just
he
saying,
playing? Is that the case of trying to play a certain level of fullness because it looks better on him? So we'll
no,
see. Let's just see what his physique.
Also that was at 225, wasn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
yeah, I'm just saying he's got the same coach, so it's not like you know what I mean. Like I don't know if that makes.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a
If
good.
that's the standard for him, more, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited. Listen, I think he's a really nice guy. I think his physique is structurally and muscularity wise one of the best in the IFBB. So I don't know. I'm rooting for him to come in shape, see
He's
where he.
definitely grown a lot because it looks like his head looks small in that picture next to
I
the animal
think
pump.
I think his potential is very high.
Yeah, it's limitless. It's like he's crazy.
I already bought the live stream.
Oh, I got to do that too.
So
Okay.
yeah, my rest now will go in the order that the rest goes after Pavel on the
Dennis,
other side.
Vincenzo, or no, you want Gianluca or what?
Uh, he can go 10 because I don't know these guys, so it doesn't really
The
matter.
212 guy we looked at.
Yeah, I don't think he's in good enough condition.
Okay.
No, I think he's got great musculature. I think he's
Yeah.
too
No, I
tough.
just I don't. I'm not saying I'm not laughing because you're wrong. I don't know. I thought it was funny the way you said it.
Ah,
Okay. All right. Where are we at here? We got
What? Let's just. I have a question.
yes.
Would you have had Terence or Josema win?
that was a tough one. That
Oh, I forgot the classic. Terrence for sure, no doubt.
I thought they're both really
Ben?
good, both very different.
I had Hosema. But I can see why he didn't because the quad sweep
Yeah,
was lacking.
sure.
Yeah, I
Sure.
think
But
I could just call him Jose because I can't say his whole name probably, and because
It was a clash of the worlds.
he reminds me of Dorian, but yeah, like he reminds me of a Dorian. This like the way he's approaches competition. I can tell he's super fucking hardcore, and he was in condition at FIBO, but he was still going. He's that kind of guy. Like I felt his ass at FIBO. He's like, touch it. I was like, I've not felt a conditioned ass like that.
he was peeled.
Yeah, I feel like
Peeled.
he's got that Dorian warrior mindset going into a show. I think he
Yeah,
really likes getting in
100%.
shape. Yeah.
You think, Fouad, it could switch? Or no chance?
Well, the judges had it one. He was winning pre-judge.
It was
I
one
know.
point.
My opinion of it is this. Terrence
He's
has
classic.
every single body part, and they all accentuate an absolutely flawless X frame.
Yeah,
Whereas Jose is
jagged.
absolutely incredible in muscularity and condition, but doesn't necessarily have an
Right.
X frame. He has more of
Mm.
a Y frame, is very flat sweep. And the thing is, when people talk about a sweep, they're like, well, from the front, this and that. It doesn't matter. When Terrence is posing,
Every angle.
no matter what pose he's hitting, a back shot, a side shot, or whatever, it's always an X because of the sweep of his quads.
Yeah.
Let me ask you another question though, because I know the side chest was letting him down as well, right? He was like leaning back on that side chest. If he cleans up his posing, which hopefully he's done this
Steve's
week.
been on him. I think Steve's been on him.
Yeah.
I want to see if I can find this for you. But go ahead, Ben. I'm going keep talking. I'm just going to find this. See if I can find this pose.
So, question for you: if he can clean up his posing, do you think he can close that gap? It's a 1 point gap, and his posing was significantly worse than Terrence's presentation. I don't think he did himself favors in the front shot or the side shot.
I think he's never going to be able to pose as well as Terrence, but even if he cleans it up, look, man, posing, you can change a lot of things with posing, but unless he can get his legs fuller, I just don't see it.
All right, well, let me ask another question then, like projecting forward to the Olympia. If Terrence is a top 2 guy, right?
Yeah.
Where does that put Josema? Is he 3rd or 4th?
I think Jose's outside the top 5.
You got
He was
Roman-
5th, right?
He was 6th, I think, for the last one. Wasn't he?
6th he was.
Yeah,
6th
well,
or 5th?
I have in my
Ramon.
top 5, I have Ramon, Urs, Terrence, Mike Sommerfeld, maybe
Yeah.
Logan, or
Who
Jose.
was it?
No, see, the problem with Logan is
There's
the
Grego, there's Grego,
the
there's
size and tissue.
You know who I
Logan,
really
if
like?
Logan put the size and tissue on, he can put himself in the top 3.
You know who I really like, but might not be big enough is that Menegate guy.
Yeah,
You
he's
guys
very
know-
young.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
kid from
But
Brazil.
back to the question. So you see no chance of flipping in New York?
Me personally,
Yeah, I just ask your personal opinion.
yeah,
nothing else.
I don't see it. I think Terrence is.
Yeah, me neither.
I think
Did you have Terrence clearly ahead?
One sec, I'm trying to find this fucking.
Because exactly the same, we are not always agree, Fouad and me, but I'm really 100%. I love Josema, especially his work attitude. He's such an incredible nice guy, but it's so frustrating when I don't see the chance, you know?
Okay, here, I want to show you guys
Yeah.
this. This is what
I
I'm
have a
talking.
hard time ignoring the size
This is what I'm talking
discrepancy.
about. Okay, you take this physique, right?
Mm.
This upper body and this upper body are the same. It's obviously a smaller structured person, but it's equal in the shape and muscularity.
Yeah,
But
within
then,
the legs. So.
but then you take the lower body and it's a completely different story,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And that's a front double. But if you move through the poses, you still see the same thing, right? So like,
I think he can pose his leg better than that, though. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think that sweep's going to change no matter how he twists.
Yeah, he really gets everything out of it, actually, because the
Think?
legs are really,
And then-
really.
I think he could turn that right femur out more.
See, the other thing too is Ben, even if he's leaning more forward here, yes, it would look better. But do you see the sweep on this quad? Like even from the side, like it's just everything.
Honestly, I don't know. I understand the judging criteria. I understand what you're saying. My eye is drawn to Josema and that the conditioning
This is
and
the
the hardness and the
conditioning,
lines. And the
Wait,
muscularity. I mean,
but
he's so
this is
much
the thing
bigger.
about. But hold on, this is the thing about looking at a video and a photo and being a judge sitting 10 feet away. In this video and photo, he looks like he's 10 times harder than Terrence. But Terrence, if you could see, is actually in very, very good condition.
I was at
It's
the
very
show.
good.
I still
No,
think
no,
Josema
I know
was
you're at
harder.
I know you're at the show, and I know he was harder. Jose might be the hardest person I've ever seen on
Yes, you
stage.
said, yeah. I remember you saying
What I'm
that.
saying is, and I even said it in the live stream, but what I'm
Yeah.
saying is Terrence is not that far behind to make
No,
up.
he's in good condition.
No, I'm not. I don't like. Look, if we talk about Nick and Derek,
But
I'm
just
like,
look at this, like just look at this
no,
shot.
I understand. I'm saying my eye, and I know that I'm being biased towards what my preference is rather than
Right.
judging.
Right.
I just prefer Josema's physique. I prefer the size and the overall muscularity he has over that, and so I
Right.
get
See that.
I get persuaded into that. That's
I
what
can
I'm saying.
totally see why somebody would pick that, but then I have to go back to criteria and I go,
Sure.
when you're looking at the back and you see this quad sweep
Mhm.
and it creates this beautiful X, it's like it kind
But
of
if you cut them off, Josema's upper body's better for me here.
Yeah, but that's because
Yeah.
also the way that Terrence is posing that back double, I know that Steve didn't like it. His elbows are too high. He's not crunching his lats at all.
I don't know. I think
So
as a,
Jose's got his lats down,
yeah,
and
They're
Terrence
fucking
has actually got them
bounced.
elongated. And I know that Steve said he needs to change that.
see, like Ben, no matter how far he turns this knee out,
Oh yeah, it's not.
I
Yeah,
don't think this is going to
I
change.
think you can turn that out more. I hear you. He's got a serious lack of sweep, but I do think he could do himself more favors there. But
I mean,
I'm just drawn to it on a bias. Like I just like that physique. So
well, I also think you're biased to like really good looking guys.
you fucking said that.
yeah, Jose's a good-looking chap.
Yeah.
So Terrence is that what you're saying? Terrence, we got a problem here.
Ben has an affinity for good looking guys. He's always had
I
that.
have an affinity for the amount of muscle and hardness that he has. I think it's I can't ignore that when I'm looking at the two physiques.
He just for me he just seems to just. I feel like his strengths and weaknesses. If he had some calves, he'd remind me of Dorian.
I could see that. It's the
Yeah.
hardness that
It's the hardness,
reminds
and it's
you
the
of
back. Because he's got really good back.
And Dorian's sweep wasn't always like
No,
crazy.
Dorian had probably the least sweepy legs.
Yeah, I could see the similarity there.
Yeah.
That's the question we had last time when we discussed about him. How good would he have been? Because, he's super young. I think he's now 23 or something, or
Yeah.
24. He's
Yeah.
super young. And you know that he competed in Open and got fourth at the Open show in Spain, bet Roman Fritz. So the question is, if the last 2 years he would have been growing.
How good at Open would he have been?
Yeah, but think about this guy's life now. He might never win the Olympia, but everybody loves this guy's physique and everybody loves the conditioning, and he doesn't have to do a
But
drugs.
but they also loved it at the Open. His condition at the Open was
He was
completely nuts.
crazy.
No, but what I'm saying is for him to be a good open bodybuilder, he's got to put on 20 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, but he's 23.
I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying some guys choose to go, you know what? First of all, they might just say, I like this look better.
Yeah,
I can still wear a normal pair of fucking jeans. I can still fit into a sports car.
Yeah, shitload of
but
pussy. Yeah, shitload of pussy looking like that.
750 grand for a men's open win is
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
don't
an
think he's ever
argument.
yeah, but that's the thing too. Calculate that out, Ben. Jose Ma, no matter even if he did the Open, he's not going to win Arnold or Olympia.
20 pounds
but
of
he could
muscle
be
on that.
but he could
Imagine
be
he
a
watches
good
this podcast and in
bodybuilder.
4 years' time he does.
Yeah, like, fuck Fouad, watch
4 years'
this.
time he's like, I'm coming for you. Fouad.
I
It
should,
would be
you know
really
what?
interesting.
You know what?
And then he
He
wins
puts
the
20
Detroit
pounds. He
Open
puts
as well.
20 pounds on his fucking sweep.
know what?
Comes out with fucking rammy legs.
I shouldn't have said that. He's actually a very impressive bodybuilder. But if the sweep doesn't grow, someone like a Samson or a Hadi or is always going to be ahead.
But Derek wins without sweep.
I know. I was wondering how is he winning without sweep?
Yeah, but you know, I really think
That's
that
the
would
whole
be an
fucking point.
interesting idea, because when you see how much he grew from 19 to 21, that was nuts. That guy is just crazy. He's really crazy.
Yeah.
And I think his work ethic must be
Derek
somewhere up.
Ianov is mad at me. He's a major fan of Jose Ma, and he says that's bullshit. He can win over 5 years. He had the size, the classic weight capped at 21. He's only 21 years old, bro. I think he's 23, but maybe he's 21. I don't know.
No, he's 23.
He's 23, yeah. Listen, whoever Jose Ma fans out there, don't get pissed off. I think he's amazing. Like
Yeah.
I did the live stream. I think he's incredible. I actually think he's got a ton of separation. He's got very crazy muscle maturity for a guy who's 23 years old. I don't know, man. I'm big on balance. Terrence is a
He
phenomenal.
went up against a really good Terrence. Like, that's the
the best
what it
Terrence I've ever
is.
seen.
Right.
Yeah. Like Terrence, like the only person in Classic I think is better than Terrence. There's only two people potentially, in my opinion, and that's Ramon or Mike.
I don't know if I think Ramon's a better classic bodybuilder than Terrence.
I
To
don't
me,
know either. I just
Yeah.
see I'm doing something that
Yeah.
bends there. That's a preference thing for me. I just
I
like
think if Terrence wasn't so fucking small as a person, I think he'd even have a better chance. I feel like he's so fucking, he's like miniature.
yeah.
Just like
That's why I think that's what I have the hardest
Yeah,
time
yeah.
when I
Because
compare
when you
the
see
two
Jose
physiques.
next to him,
and I'm
just
just like, well, this guy's way bigger. Like,
you look at the bigger guy, don't you?
yeah, my eyes just drawn to that.
But I think if it was open, that would matter. But maybe in Classic, it doesn't matter as much.
But I'm open. My
Yeah,
camp
exactly.
is-
You're driven.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm
but
looking at it as an open fan, and I'm
I
not
know,
really.
but you got to take those glasses off and put the other ones on when you
Says
watch.
who? I'm
You
not
basically just got to get some binoculars.
Hey, I'm
now, so
not
you
getting
can-
paid to judge. I'm just here as I'm here on a couch.
James. Okay.
Just go like when you see Terrence on, you just turn the and then when you look at Jose, you turn it back the other way, and then they're the same size. Easy.
All right. Let's.
Well, in that
why
case,
is-
if they're the same size, then Terrence destroys him.
Why is the bed such a mess, Ben, today?
He's just
This-
shagged.
Oh, this is the spare duvet that came off the other.
Oh,
bed.
so the bed is made.
Yeah, this bed is made.
He's just got a spare.
I'm
duvet.
sorry. I'll tell the cleaner.
so look,
I'll
wait,
tell her
wait.
you complain, so you'll get a phone call. not
There's
me.
a comment here. There's a comment in here which I just want to go over just really quickly. If it's
Yeah,
okay. It just says that somehow Derek wins with a back double bicep with no biceps. How important are biceps in a back double bicep?
Well, that's why I think Nick's is as good as it is, though. So I think they are important. That's also why. Who's the person you mentioned, James? When we were talking about black double biceps. Ronnie.
Yeah,
Ronnie Coleman's peaks on his biceps, and that sweep from the armpit to the elbow,
tricep sweep.
That's
But like I say, if it's a back double bicep, like you technically, if you never watched bodybuilding before, and someone said judge the back double bicep, what's the person gonna do? They're gonna look at the back and the biceps,
Who's in the name?
and then that's it, and they're not gonna judge the rest.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
we talked about the Arnold real quick, but before we get away from it completely and go to questions, do you think the Arnold can ever be better than the Olympia?
In what
Yes.
Depends
For
what
the
you want.
for the athletes, like for the athlete status?
Is it not?
Status
Oh,
is tough.
Status, I don't
different.
think so.
That's different. Now, as a show, it already is better in
I'm talking
my
about status.
opinion.
I'm talking about status. Everybody wants to
I'm-
win the Olympia. Will the Arnold ever surpass that?
I don't
as,
think
the
so.
show?
I feel like the Arnold has to change its name to the Arnold Classic Champion of the World. bodybuilding class because you have to have something needs to make it sound
The
more
name,
prestigious.
matters.
But
the
The
name,
Arnold,
but
Arnold World Champion.
actually back then it was the Mr. International.
Yeah, but then that's not world, is it? So that's where Mr. Olympia's like extra. It's like out. The Olympia is like we need something. You know what I mean? Yeah, like it needs. You need to one up,
guys,
go up the name
guys, do you know because why it's called Mr. Olympia?
because
You don't know?
No, I don't.
I probably
They
do.
were
I
sitting
just
in a bar
forgot.
and drinking that Olympia beer.
No.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's crazy. Well, listen, I'm going to go against you guys on this one.
You say can.
I think if I win the Arnold Classic and it's $1 million and you won the Olympia and it's 600, I'm gonna be like, I don't give a fuck about your title.
I'm
I just want
fucking
$1 million.
betting.
And everyone, eventually, everybody
It will face.
if that will be the show.
Money does talk. Money does talk.
And that invitation thing is kind of a cool stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, the way the show is run with that
It's
fewer
great.
athletes, it's much, much better.
I can say personally, having
It
had
has
done
to be.
both,
It's just easier.
that
It's just
I
easier.
always find the Arnold to be a very good experience.
Yeah, that's not a knock on the Olympia because they don't have the option of scaling it down like that. I mean, they kind of do, but they won't.
Yeah.
But I think that might be, see, some people look at that as a negative. I almost look at it as a positive because it's a very bodybuilding centric show.
It is.
That's what I feel. That's
actually.
what I feel. I feel it's very
It's not the
bodybuilding.
Arnold.
It's athlete driven.
I
The
know,
Arnold.
but
It's
the
athlete
argument-
driven.
The argument I've heard against what I'm saying, Ben, is, well, the Olympia will always be more important because it's a qualification show. So it's more sport-like. But the argument I'm making in return is the fact that it's an invitational and it's very bodybuilding centric. And now if the prize money is that much higher, means, hey, this is where the best bodybuilders in the world compete. It's based on bodybuilding, this show.
An invitational is normally pretty special.
I think, honestly, the money talks. Because as far as show production and how they take care of the athletes and everything, they're either equal or the Arnold is better.
Yeah.
So what's left? Then we're just talking about history and money.
Well, the Olympia has the history.
The history,
I also have to say, like, the Arnold having Arnold is a big thing for a lot of us because when you go to the Olympia, there ain't no Arnold.
So what happens sooner or
When Arnold's
later
gone.
when he's not here? What happens to that?
Maybe that boosts
show?
even more. Maybe the legacy will go even more.
I don't know. That's a tricky one, Ben, because like when Joe Weider was around, the Olympia, I think, had more prestige.
Because
Not
Joe
to
Weider's
knock-
Olympia.
Not to knock Dan Solomon, but it was Joe Weider's show, right?
Yeah.
Now we just have Dan Solomon and Jake Wood, which is cool. Like they're doing a great job, but like it's not Arnold.
Yeah.
But then I wonder when Arnold's gone, and then it's just gonna be like Brian Powers and Dan Solomon, and it's not gonna have the same level of prestige.
Tough one.
Yeah.
Tough
I
one.
do think having Arnold open the show and be at the show adds to the prestige of it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time that Fouad
Yeah.
Abiad does the new big show.
The other thing is because they have such few athletes, they're able to have a show that is much more easy to sit through and
Oh,
be
yeah.
at. Like,
Yeah, dude, if you can sit through a show in 2 hours and leave, you know,
It's
me and
great.
me and Ben talked about that in Detroit. Because originally when we got Detroit, we are like, oh, we're going to try and have every class one day and everything. You know, after this year, we all sat down, me, him, and Paul sat
This is
down and talked.
perfect.
We're like, listen, part of the reason people love it so much is the energy is really high.
Yep.
It stays high for 2 classes, and then everybody goes home.
Mate, everybody that I spoke to after that show,
There's no stuff that nobody wants to see, right? It's just
every person that came out of that show had a smile on their face, which in the best mood because they hadn't had to sit around for ages and left that place feeling great. And they were like,
also,
we'll be here next year.
it's the same thing. Like, and okay, maybe you could do the third one of men's physique, but like you said with Pittsburgh, you had open then classic. They're the same demographic of audience,
yeah.
So they all stay for it. They're
Right.
all there for it. You don't get this changing of the guy. Like you
That's
get
what I mean. There's no
a girls' class come on in the middle, and all the guys get up and go take a piss break, and then everyone grabs a seat.
The energy just goes like this. It's
Everyone
up.
stayed in their seat and fucking boom.
I just want to say about the Arnold as well. The Arnold, some people, I don't know if many people understand, but the US Arnold, you have to have won shows to. Normally, there's only the odd exception if someone's on the rise, like if someone's just won the Arnold amateur, or they were in a show that was against like literally like fucking 3 Arnold Classic champions and placed 4th. like you literally have to have had one shows in the last 2 years to be able to even apply for the Arnold.
Yeah.
They consider your social media too. You have to apply and like fill in a form where you
Yeah.
write down all your shows history.
Placings. It's just because people think placings aren't as important for the Arnold. It is. You literally. I was only like the reason I got to the Arnold 2024 was because of a win in 2022, and then the only reason I got to the Arnold this year was because I got top 5 at the previous Arnold. So you have to like do a certain level of, you know, you can't just like rock up. It's not just for anybody. Like people apply, and so many people don't get the qualification, and they could have been second to some really good bodybuilders for the whole year and still not get the yes.
Yeah.
It's quite a tough show to get into, to be fair.
All right, let's knock out some questions, a couple questions, and we'll go. Do you guys have any pre-workout rituals before training? James?
No, not really, man.
Yeah, you guys are boring that way.
Can't give away the secrets.
I have to shower. I have to shower before every training session.
Oh, you think you're Jay Cutler now, huh?
No, okay. You know what? You know what's beautiful about this podcast, Ben? It's all on record. You can go back 4 years and hear me saying this.
I've been doing this.
Yeah, because Jay Cutler was doing it 14 years
No, I've been
ago.
doing this my whole fucking career.
You just got me to.
Yeah, no, that's one of mine. I have to shower before. I mean, now it's a little different because my office, like, I'm not really bodybuilding at the office, but when I was training, I would have to shower before going to the gym. Nobody, nothing. You guys are just.
If I'm training at home, I'll smoke a little weed, roll a little bit.
Really? Stefan, any pre-workout?
I always had a coffee with friends on the bar.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And then go train?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're so shocked by that. You had coffee with friends, really?
You had friends?
You fucking lunatic.
No, it feels like a very relaxed thing to do before training.
Smoking a coffee?
Like you're hanging out, yeah.
I don't really do anything before training.
It was
I
brilliant.
always wanted to get myself like amped up, not like calm down.
Yeah, it's a coffee, and then what do you train today? Fits, let's do it together. I'm doing that. Okay. We are not training together. How was the training yesterday?
I
yeah,
miss that. I miss that about a gym environment. I've missed that a lot.
It was all about that.
Yeah, but Ben, there's a lot more I hate than I miss. I saw a kid yesterday. I shouldn't even say this because everyone's gonna start
just
tagging.
Fucking say it. Let's do it.
Listen, I think he's a photographer, so maybe it's okay. He brought his own lighting to the gym.
No, fuck, it's not okay. It's not okay. Why is that okay?
This is the thing. It wasn't even like white light. It was like colored light.
Oh,
the
shady ones?
Putting it on all the machines and taking photos while he's training. I'm like, this can't be like how things have changed.
Oh, he was taking photos from him?
Yeah, of himself.
That's
he would
good.
set up the lights and do the set and then take the photo. But I think it was, listen,
was he doing a photo shoot or was he training?
I think he's a photographer, so maybe he was just showing lighting. But I'm not sure. And I'm like, if this is what training has become, there's a problem.
Well, I miss the culture of like going to a gym like Muscle Works and where everyone is there to bodybuild primarily and sitting around shooting the shit with the boys and then going and training. I miss that.
Yes, that was the best. That was the best.
I feel like
was my routine.
I feel like there's fewer and fewer of those gyms nowadays, though.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, but they're the ones we would drive out of our way for.
Yeah.
Like Luke and I would drive 50 minutes, maybe to an hour from Essex to Kent. Yeah, before we moved.
Yeah.
To go train that gym because of the environment.
And the good coffee machine could be magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even they had food. John does food there as well.
Oh, John's food's good.
Okay. If you had one chance in the world to change one moment in your life, what would you change? What moment would you change or redo in your life if you had one chance to do so?
So basically,
doesn't have to be bodybuilding related.
I'm quite happy. Everything I did had the purpose, and it's hard to call.
I probably can't say mine because
even if I think about the real bad stuff, the bullshit stuff.
I want to know, James.
Kind of went good.
Mine's good that I didn't, because if I did it now, I would be arrested.
What would you have done different, James? Tell me.
I need to know this.
No, there's certain individuals that I would have absolutely ripped their fucking face off, but I didn't. So It's cool.
Enough said.
I'm good.
Enough
I'm
said.
good because I didn't.
Okay.
But there's been a great pleasure. You know,
I can't.
I'm good.
There's probably
I got it.
I'm kind of like in a weird place where like I think there's a lot of things I would have changed, but at the same time I'm with Stefan on the fact that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
It's really hard to
So the one thing that I'm like, was my motorbike accident, right?
Yeah.
But if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have moved home. And if I hadn't have moved home, I wouldn't have gone to the gym and started training with Luke and then do.
Everything happens for a reason.
So that was after the
So
bike
my-
you started training.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah,
sure
that's
when
me.
that was.
I was living in London and then I was actually home visiting my dad. And
Ah.
left. Then I left to drive back to London and got wiped out. So
Wait, I gotta read this question. This question is from Joseba. He's one of our biggest fans. Joseba says, put yourself in my shoes. I'm back on the market. Should I pursue a 7 out of 10 that lives 5 minutes away or a 10 out of 10 that lives 1 hour away?
10 out of 10.
Like, it's an hour, man. Just drive there. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong? Joseba,
You lazy fuck, by the way.
Joseba, I'm talking straight to you because I know you're watching this. Don't be a lazy fuck, man. Go fuck the 10 out of 10. What? Who? What kind of question is that? You're like, I got a mediocre chick 5 minutes away.
Like a 9 close around the corner and a 10.
Why do you just have both?
on the way.
Fucking Casanova down there.
You know,
That's actually a good
James means the snack before the real dish.
Or the dessert on the way home.
Warm up on the 7, yeah.
No, I'd say put the good shift on the 10 and then on the way stop for dessert. That's probably the best way.
The
'Cause
cheese.
you can be a bit sloppy with a 7, it's fine.
The cheese.
The cheese. I like that, the cheese.
Would you guys rather give up nice cars and trucks or motorcycles, and why?
Yeah, for me the question is easy. I hate motorcycles, so
Do
get
you
them rid
hate
of.
motorcycles? Have you ridden one before, or you just hate them because
No, it's just I have problems with walking straight. Imagine me riding on two wheels,
You know what's crazy about that though? Like racing takes a lot of coordination. So I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm not good at all, and I would be super shit in motorcycle, or probably dead.
I'm not. I know I wouldn't be very safe on a bike. I'm not to be trusted. Definitely
I
not.
think for me, I've crossed over from I could give a shit about cars anymore.
Yeah, that's
I just
either
want,
that
I
or
want to
that.
own like I just want to own
We
like
had a bad argument at my house 3 years ago over this exact fucking thing. Because he was like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Because I told him that bikes were better than cars, and he would not have any of it. You remember that? I remember that argument.
Yeah.
That's
I do remember
Ben's
that.
actually winning for once.
I do remember that. That was the what's funny? I've learned about that experience
I'm always right.
25% of the time. But what I learned from that experience was every single person who hasn't ridden a bike or just starts out riding they're all the same. Like you don't really get it unless you've done it.
Yeah.
Oh, I can easily imagine that it's great, but I also know that I'm just not built for that.
Oh no,
Like-
I know a lot of people who are self-aware enough to be like, oh no, I don't trust myself on a motorcycle. I get that. What I'm saying is a lot of people think they know what the feeling is.
No, I am with
And
Yeah,
the speed
100
and the excitement.
100 miles, 100 mile an hour in a Porsche, and
It's not-
100 mile an hour on a Ducati is like,
Yeah, easy.
You know when
Holy
I
fuck.
realize it the most, Stefan, is like I'll be on my Ninja and some guy in a Mustang will pull up next to me and I'm like, this guy has just no idea.
Mm.
Like he has no idea the amount of power I'm sitting on right now. Like there's no
He doesn't understand how much power I'm sitting on.
No, I'm just saying like there's no race to be had there. Like it's not even a comparison. Like a
Fucking infinity stones in your gauntlet.
You Americans with just doing comparison driving straight.
Yeah, it's great. It's like awesome.
Tear it up.
the good thing about bikes is the speed is so cheap relative.
Oh, I didn't tell you
Yes.
that before we go. I have a racing course next week for
Cool.
a motorcycle racing course, that I have to cancel.
Oh.
No.
I have to postpone it because for the first time in my 26 years of fucking bodybuilding,
Oh, you've
Oh
actually
my
done your foot.
God.
What have you done?
What'd you do? You drop a plate on it?
I dropped a dumbbell on my fucking toe.
Oh, I've done that.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Holy
So-
shit.
You see where that? You see
That
where
toenail's going to fall off.
Oh, James, wait.
Fucking,
You see where that gash is?
Yeah.
I don't want to see more. Don't.
Is it full of shit now?
When I took my sock off,
I can't. I'm
the
squeamish as fuck.
the nail went like this and peeled off.
Yeah.
Blah.
Yeah, it's
And then
pretty rough.
I grabbed the nail and put it back.
It won't stay.
Show it,
That's
show
off,
it
bro.
live now. I want to see.
Huh?
We want to see it
Hold the
live.
foot in the camera.
It's wrapped right now.
Yeah, put it off.
I'm not gonna take the wrap off. Fuck you.
You want to see the raw wound.
So I put the nail back on and I fucking wrapped it. And I'm like, oh my God, just fucking whatever.
Never open it again.
Just leave it. Just leave it.
I did the same thing for my prep. I had the same thing happen during my prep for 2009 British Championships as a junior. And I just left it wrapped and kept getting scissors and alcohol
Really?
wipes. Yeah, I got alcohol wipes and scissors and cut off all the flesh that grew. And I kept cutting it off and washing it with alcohol wipes for the whole prep.
Oh
for
my
about
God.
for weeks. And I just
And
did it.
now?
Well, then after I finally got it, let it heal properly, and then it grew back in a funny way. I had to go to the doctors to get them to inject my toe to cut out ingrowing toenail because it grew back ingrowing.
Oh my
It was
God.
hard, man. It was rough. Yeah, it was rough.
So
I got scars on my toe from it.
well, how did that happen, James?
Again, in the gym, I think I dropped a plate or something on it.
Yeah.
Same shit.
Dude, that was the first time in my fucking life. I was doing dumbbell rows, and the way I do dumbbell rows is I just stand straight and I lean over like
Yeah,
a
you have
On
both feet in the
the-
same place.
yeah.
dumbbell rack, right? So I usually row the dumbbell up the side of my leg. And then when I'm done, I just drop it. Well, I fucking dropped it and I must have
Just angled it.
I don't know how, but it's the first time in my life. I'm like, how the fuck did that even happen? So now I got to cancel my course. I got to rebook it for a later date. But
Did you buy no steel cap shoes?
did I buy what? The racing shoes?
No steel cap shoes for
You need steel cap
safe-
shoes.
Oh,
Yes.
steel boots. Oh no.
Safety boots.
Yeah, that for
No, I'm just
training.
gonna try and I'm just gonna try
Wait, that's your right foot. You're
yeah,
still
my
good.
brake foot. Yeah.
You're still good. You don't need that one.
I know. You know what? I asked the instructor, I said, do you think I'm going to be all right? He's like, listen, he's like, honestly, if you can put some pressure on it, you'll be fine. As far as putting pressure on it, I can do that. The problem is, like right now, I'm wearing my fucking, like my Jordans.
Yeah.
And it was hard enough to get my fucking foot in there. Getting those fucking like Alpine stars, like the racing, and getting those on. Oh my
No
God,
chance.
dude.
How bad do you want to ride a bike? So you
I
ask
can
yourself.
wait a couple weeks and go like a different date. Anyway.
Fuck.
All right, we answered 2 questions. I really got to be better at answering questions. This isn't good. Okay. Anybody want to say anything before we go?
Oh, it's nice to see everybody. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's nice to catch up.
Been a little while.
Okay.
Buy the live stream and watch New York.
Buy a live stream, watch New York, guys.
I live stream watch New York. Good way to finish. Okay,
Yeah,
boys, we'll see you next week.
absolutely.